Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Wisconsin.
Beautiful day in the city of Milwaukee. We have matinee baseball just west of Lake Michigan at Miller Park. It should be packed in here today, and the Brewers going for the sweep against the Houston Astros. Out on the mound, it's going to be Jordan Lyles and Mike Fiers. Mike Fiers, over his last 7 starts, an ERA less than 1. He hopes to get some offensive support from Corey Hart. He has 3 home runs on this homestand alone, including a big one in last night's victory over Houston. And Aramis Ramirez, who bats just ahead of him, the Brewers Player of the Month for the month of July. 373 clip for him during that span, and 4 home runs as well. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Brewers Baseball here on Fox Sports Wisconsin alongside Davey Nelson. I'm Craig Kashan, and the home run ball getting it done for the Brewers, especially here at Miller Park. When they hit the home run, so much better opportunity for this club to win.
Yeah, and it puts a lot of pressure on, I think, on the team. But they are a home run hitting team. They play in a ballpark that is conducive to the home run and ball carries. But when you look at it, they thought that when they lost Prince Fielder, the home run average was going to go down. But it certainly has picked up, really. And when you look at it, Corey's coming to his own. You know, you're getting some great production from Aramis Ramirez, Ryan Braun. Yeah, they do live and die by the home run.
Mike Fiers out on the hill this afternoon. He's all about quality starts. Can he rack up another one and get a sweep for the Brew Crew before they hit the road? The and Rock take you the rest of the way.
Sports Wisconsin is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, because when friends come together, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Toyota. When you choose Toyota, you get a lot for less. Toyota. and by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Beautiful day in Milwaukee, Wisconsin today. Matinee baseball from Miller Park. Mike Fiers, he's up again. This will be his 11th start in the big leagues. You see what he's done so far. Home and road splits. He has been outstanding here at home, but he's been even better away from Miller Park. Overall, he's been one of the bright surprises the Brewers have had all season. Hi, everybody. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Brian Anderson. Great to have you with us this afternoon. The Brewers going after a sweep of the Houston Astros, and they'll turn it over to a rookie pitcher in Mike Fiers, who has been maybe the best pitcher the Brewers have had over the last 6 weeks.
Man, he's starting to get a little bit of recognition. I mean, when you talk about Mike Fiers, you're talking about one of the best starting pitchers for rookies in the National League. And the thing that makes it very impressive, the fact that he throws strikes. Look what he's done in his last 7 starts. Really doesn't have the wins and losses to show for it. A .77 earned run average, 47 innings. He doesn't walk anybody. The strikeouts are up. And the thing about Fiers is he's able to keep the ball in the ballpark. He's given up 2 home runs in 10 starts. Both of those coming in 1 start against the Pirates right here at Miller Park.
He is a name you have to start considering in the group of Rookie of the Year candidates. The Brewers and the Astros. Milwaukee trying to make it 3 in a row against Houston. A sweep if they can win today. First pitch coming up next on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And there is 26-year-old rookie right-hander Mike Fiers. He leads the Brewers out onto the field here at Miller Park. Final game of this 7-game homestand, and the Brewers with a victory today can make it a winning homestand. Great to have you with us this afternoon on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Mike Fiers against Jordan Lyles of the Houston Astros. Well, it has been a rough go for the Houston Astros this year. Brad Mills' club at 35-70, the worst record in all of baseball. And you see in his 3rd season, and you wonder if he'll be back with the Astros next season when they head to the American League. Piggly Wiggly batting order for the Astros. Jordan Schaefer leads off, Jose Altuve, then Scott Moore. Middle of the order is Brett Wallace, Ben Francisco, and Brian Bogasevic. Carlos Corcoran, the former Brewer farmhand, he'll catch today with Marwin Gonzalez at short. And the 21-year-old Jordan Lyles on the mound. That's the lineup that will face Mike Fiers.
Well, he's been outstanding. We talked about him on our open today. He's got a walk to strikeout ratio about 4-1. Doing a nice job keeping the ball in the ballpark. An opponent batting average at .219. He's coming off a month of July where in 4 starts he had a 1.01 earned run average. Good stuff for Mike Fiers.
Check the defense behind Mike Fiers today for the Brew Crew with Braun Gomez and Morgan in the outfield. Aoki gets the day off. Ramirez, Turris, Weeks, and Hart go around the horn. And Jonathan Lucroy back in there doing the catching for Mike Fiers. That is the Brewers defense, brought to you by Menards. We are set for baseball here today. Fiers against Jordan Schaefer to start it. Schaefer back in the leadoff spot for Houston. First time he's hit leadoff in this series, and the first pitch is down and in, and away we go. Schaefer's been hitting near the bottom of the order, hitting 8th during this series as he takes one low. A guy who strikes out a lot, but very fast. Astros picked him up from the Atlanta Braves last year in the Michael Bourne deal.
They had a lot of young, inexperienced players on this Houston Astros team, and they are hoping that they'll be able to develop. And Jordan Schaefer, a guy that they'd love to have lead off.
In the air to right field, pretty well hit. Morgan makes the play with his back up against the wall. One gone. That's how this afternoon starts for Mike Fiers. Wally Bell will call the balls and strikes today. The crew chief is Mike Winters. He's over at first base. Mark Wegner and Brian Knight join him on the bases. Mike Fiers in his last 7 starts, a .77 ERA. That's 4 earned runs in 47 innings for Mike Fiers. He's one of those rare pitchers that has found more success in the big leagues than he has in AAA. And he's making his 11th start in the major leagues here today. Had 10 starts in AAA prior to his call up, and his record was 1-3 with a 4.42 ERA. Here in the big leagues, he's 4-4 with a 1.77 earned run average. Bouncing ball to his Turris, and there is out number 2. Another great day for baseball here. Got the State Fair opening up tomorrow, and expected to have beautiful weather. Partly cloudy skies, mostly sunny at this point, actually. 85 degrees. And a good way to wrap up this homestand. Always a lot of fun here at Miller Park, and a great crowd has filed in here. A lot of kids are represented in the upper deck, wearing all of their colored t-shirts in the summer programs. Makes you feel alive coming to the ballpark on a day like this.
And no better place to be. You don't even have to worry about the weather. If they get some bad weather, close her up. If not, enjoy the sunshine.
A big group from local YMCAs and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America here enjoying this day game today. The Brewers will take tomorrow off, and then they'll start a series in St. Louis beginning Friday.
Very short 3-game road trip from Milwaukee, and then right back at home. Nice stretch of home games for the Brewers.
Well, a win today for Milwaukee will give Renick's club a 4-3 homestand. The Brewers will host the Reds next Monday, a 3-game series, a 3-game homestand here at Miller Park. Scott Moore takes one off the plate. 2-2 the count to Scott Moore, who hits third in Brad Mills' lineup. He's homered in this series. He homered in the first game on Monday. 2-2. Fiers misses. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
And this is a guy you got to be careful with. This young man has a lot of power, Scott Moore. Saw him hit a couple of home runs in Houston. He's got 5 of them in 93 at bats.
Fiers facing the Astros for the first time. None of the Astros have faced Fiers in the big leagues. As he pulls one over to Hart. Hart gobbles it up and will take it to the bag. And a good start for Mike Fiers. 1-2-3 innings. Now the Brewers coming up against Jordan Lyles. day. He was ejected last night, he and his bench coach, Jerry Narron. And Renick's Piggly Wiggly batting order here today. Nigel Morgan will lead off. Carlos Gomez, then Ryan Braun. Aramis Ramirez, Corey Hart, and Ricky Weeks in the middle, with Lucroy, Izturis, and Fires rounding it out. That's the batting order that will face right-hander Jordan Lyles, who is 2-7 this season. A 5.54 ERA. Very young pitcher on the mound here today for the Astros.
Yeah, only 21 years old. He's in his second season, so he was 20 years old in his first year. Still trying to learn at this level. He's having a rough time of it. It's giving him 97 hits in 79 2/3 innings.
Nigel Morgan bounces one over the third. It's mishandled by Moore, and Morgan will reach. Looked like a pretty routine opportunity for Scott Moore, but he boots it. That'll be an E5. Check the rest of the Astros defensively with Francisco, Schaefer, and Bogusevic in the outfield. Moore, Gonzalez, Altuve, and Brett Wallace around the horn. The catcher today is Carlos Corcoran, switch hitting catcher. And Lyles on the mound. The Astros defense brought to you by Menards. Scott Moore has had his troubles at third base this year, especially against Milwaukee. And that will go as an E5.
And they're still trying to find a position for Moore. He played right field against the Brewers in Houston.
And now it's Gomez. Typically bunts in spots like this, but he's coming off the best week of his major league career. The National Co-Player of the Week with Drew Stubbs of the Reds last week. He drove in 10 runs in the week. And that one is going to bounce foul. Gomez yesterday had 2 more hits. He was 2 for 3, scored a couple of runs, and is now hitting .254. A career best 9 home runs and 28 RBIs. And Rocky, figure he missed a couple of weeks due to a hamstring injury as well. That set him back after he was off to a great start.
Yeah, he got out of the gates pretty well right out of spring training, just like he did last year. But as you mentioned, it took him a while to come back, and he's finally swinging the bat like the Brewers had hoped he would. And because of that, he's getting an awful lot of playing time.
Those are the monthly splits for Gomez, putting together his best month. And Morgan, did he go? No, he didn't. Able to check his swing, says Mike Winters. A lot of hitters are taught on inside pitches to turn in toward the catcher. Gomez is just the opposite, and sometimes he puts himself in a vulnerable position.
That's because he commits. He pops those hips open early. That's why he's so good on pitches inside and struggles with pitches away.
Gomez has already been hit by pitches twice in this series. He's gotten it on each wrist, and I think there's a lot of concerning Gomez, because he does expose himself that way, and when he does get hit by a pitch, instead of in the middle of the back, it's either on a forearm or a wrist. Morgan takes off, and the pitch is low. The throw goes into center field. Morgan will hold his ground. A stolen base for Nigel Morgan, number 9 on the year. And the Brewers putting the wheels in motion early against Lyles.
Yeah, the Brewers have been stealing bases pretty much at will in this series, actually in this homestand. Able to rack up the stolen bases. A double steal last night. Aoki had a stolen base, and now Nigel able to steal a bag here in the first inning.
So Morgan, after having some success in a pinch hit role the last couple of days, getting a start rewarded by his manager. And he swiped second base in scoring position for Carlos Gomez. Full count to Gomez with Braun coming up next. Looks like he shattered his bat. Now Gomez, over his last 9 games, he has been able to add to his batting average. He's raised it from .233 to .254 over these 9 games. A .364 average. That includes 4 home runs and 10 runs batted in.
And he's actually been driving the ball to the opposite field. He's got some base hits in that direction. He's made some hard outs out to right field. It's always a good sign that a hitter is seeing the baseball pretty well.
That one's inside, almost hit him. Ball 4. An error and a walk. And Ryan Braun will bat for the first time with 2 on and nobody out in the first inning.
And Jordan Lyles, not a guy that's going to overpower anybody. About 92. He has some sink on his fastball. And he relies on a pretty good changeup, a pitch we haven't seen quite yet. And the Astros are 2-12 in Jordan Lyles' 14 starts, so he has struggled out there on the mound this year.
And now facing the reigning MVP in the National League, Ryan Braun. Braun checks in with a .310 batting average. Had a hit yesterday. 2 walks and a single for Braun. He was 1 for 2. He scored a couple of runs. Braun's been nursing an injured left hand. It's a blister on the palm of his hand. Knocked him out of the starting lineup on Monday. He returned yesterday, and with the Brewers comfortably ahead 8-1, Renicky took him out of the game for his final at bat. The Brewers would eventually win 10-1 as Lyles sends one in for a strike.
And the Astros very careful with Ryan Braun in yesterday's game. In his first 3 at bats, first 9 pitches out of the zone. And that wasn't even close either, but Ryan went after it.
2 on, nobody out. And Braun chases one at 94, and an unusual swing by Ryan Braun. I just wonder how much that hand is bothering him. He looks like he took a hand off the bat on that swing. Well, Lyles has him in a hole, 0-2. Just got a piece. Jordan Lyles, at 21 years of age, is currently the youngest member of the Astros Major League roster, and he's the youngest starting pitcher on any National League roster right now. .64 out of North Carolina, in the big leagues at 20.
And baseball is bringing these kids up early, aren't they? Seems like every team has somebody in, 20, 21 years old. Particularly pitchers.
Lyles was a first rounder out of high school from South Carolina. He's from Hartsville, South Carolina. Astros picked him up as the 38th pick in 2008, and as a teenager he blew right through the minor league system as Braun shoots one down the right field line that will slice in the seats. He's been the youngest guy at every level. He was in Double-A and eventually Triple-A at 19 years of age, and then the Astros promoted him to the big leagues last year as a 20-year-old. And there's always that question about confidence. A pitcher who takes his lumps in the big leagues at this age, can he remain confident? Can he turn into a top 2 or 3 starter in the major leagues that Lyles is expected to be?
Yeah, last year's 2-8. This year 2-7. Sooner or later it starts getting to you. I don't care how old you are. I mean, that's 4-15 in 2 years. That's a lot of losing for a young kid.
Well, he was 5-0 this year in Oklahoma City in Triple-A in 7 starts. So the Astros gave him another shot. 1-2 to Braun. Astros have been excessively concerned over base runners here in this series, I would say.
Yeah, well, they should. The Brewers have been very aggressive, stealing bases, taking the extra base, very aggressive in scoring runs, taking chances. Why not, right?
Seen a lot of pickoff plays, the daylight play at second base. Another one inside. Almost got a piece of brawn.
It's a lot easier to hold a runner at second base when you have your second baseman just about right behind the bag. Altuve playing up the middle on Ryan Braun, and Ryan Braun very capable of hitting ground balls in that direction over there in the hole.
And another pickoff play. Morgan is in there. None of the pickoff plays have resulted in outs, but you could say that Brewers base runners have been on their toes. They're a little closer to second base. It's not a guarantee that a run will score on a base hit to the outfield. And the Brewers have had a lot of base runners in this series. Yesterday they won 10-1, had 12 hits in the game.
Yeah, a lot of pickoff throws, takes a little bit of attention away from the hitter for that pitcher. And yesterday the Brewers with a couple of 3-run home runs, both coming with runners at first and second. You know, pickoff plays at second involved, and anytime you have a young pitcher that's struggling with his command and he's worried about base runners, that's a lot for him to deal with. A lot of times he's going to make a mistake to the hitter.
Well, the Astros committed an error yesterday. There were 12 Brewers hits and 8 walks issued to Brewer hitters in yesterday's game, and that is in just 8 innings of at-bats. Brewers didn't need their 9th inning at-bat as they led going into the 9th. And they've got a chance to keep it going here today. Long look from Lyles. The 3-2 pitch. Braun fouls it back. Ryan Braun remains one of the top hitters statistically in the National League coming into play this afternoon. Would find his name on most of the major offensive categories in the league. 10th in batting average. Leads the league in homers and is 5th in RBIs. Runners go. Bouncing ball toward third. Moore has it. And throws Braun out. Both runners were on the move. And now second and third with 1 out for the red hot Aramis Ramirez. And on the Powerball home run count, Aramis Ramirez, a 3-run shot last night. It was his 13th home run of the season, and it capped off a monster month of July for Aramis Ramirez.
Yep, a 3-run shot in the 3rd inning. That gave the Brewers a 5-1 lead. And Ramirez has been unbelievable. He's coming to the plate today with a batting average at .293. And that is some incredible hitting from where he started in mid-May.
Bouncing ball off the chest of Moore. He recovers and a wide throw. A run will score. Everybody's safe. And Scott Moore getting exposed over at third base in this 1st inning.
And a couple of errors, and Aramis Ramirez will probably be credited for with an RBI. Nyjer Morgan taking off on contact, and there's your error right there, the throwing error, pulling Wallace off the bag. All hands safe, and Carlos Gomez able to get to third base.
1-0 Brewers on the 2nd error of the inning by Scott Moore. So Ramirez at first, Gomez at third base, and here's Corey Hart. Hart had a 3-run home run yesterday as well. And a bouncing ball towards short. Gonzalez to second for 1 to turn, and it is in time. A double play. So the Brewers get just 1 after all that. 2 errors and a walk. 1-0 Milwaukee.
And they've got a 1-0 lead. And every Friday, high school and college students can purchase select tickets for half price, courtesy of Time Warner Cable. Visit Brewers.com/students.
A bunch of students here today. Good to have them at the ballpark as the Brewers take the early lead over the Astros, and we move to the second inning. Mike fires against Brett Wallace to start the second. Wallace just recently promoted from the minor leagues. Getting a chance to play first base. Astros had Carlos Lee playing first base most of the season. Traded Lee to the Marlins back in early July. It was a few years back, 2 years ago. Houston traded Lance Berkman away, and they felt like Wallace might be their first baseman of the future. Hasn't worked out that way just yet. As Braun makes a catch and fires, has one away in the second.
And they picked him up. They thought he was going to be right away the heir apparent. He had some good numbers down in the minor leagues. He just hasn't been able to hit yet, and hit for power at the big league level.
Well, I suppose if you're a minor league player in the Astros organization, you're pretty excited about your opportunities that are available. There is hardly any established veteran player at any position at the big league level. And you know, you'll get your chance as the Astros rebuild their organization from the ground up. They have been on a trade frenzy leading up to the trade deadline, trading away their top 5 highest payrolled players, and in return receiving 13 prospects from various organizations.
Loading up their minor leagues to hopefully benefit them down the road. It's going to take a while for those guys to be ready. Interesting offseason for the Astros. See what they do.
Ben Francisco pops it foul. I would imagine that there has to be a little bit of effort to sign free agents, impact type free agents, because the Astros suffered through a 100-loss season last season, and they're on their way to another one this season, and in danger of losing a fan base for a while. Foul territory. Lucroy will watch it bounce in the seats. And it's 2-2 on Francisco. Francisco, formerly of the Phillies, had a couple of postseason runs with the Phillies. That one's hit well down the left field line. Long run for Braun, and he can't get it. And one hops out. A ground rule double for Ben Francisco.
Yeah, didn't miss that one by much. Ryan Braun covering a lot of ground down the line. And Francisco hit that one well. Second double this year. That curveball, not a bad pitch. It might have been up just a touch, but Francisco had to wait back and hit this one hard into left field. Normally you're going to see a hitter take that one to the opposite field, but he pulls it, and Ryan just missed it. He got pretty close to it. First base runner for Houston.
So the first hit for the Astros, it's a 1-out double, and now Brian Bogusevic has been one of the Astros' best pinch hitters this season. He gets a start here today. Bogusevic in each of the first 2 games has delivered with pinch hit singles. Overall a .216 hitter, but Bogusevic as a pinch hitter is now 7 for 17.
He got a good stroke. Shoots the ball up the middle and the left field. Ordinarily guys that have that approach are going to be pretty good pinch hitters. Not going to get much to pull late in the game.
You can stay in the game a long time if you can prove a worthy hitter off the bench.
Just ask Mark Kotze.
Yep, no question. That is a desired position, and Bogusevic starting to turn into one of those guys. You know, it kind of reminds me of a guy who had a terrific career as a pinch hitter, a guy off the bench, Orlando Palmeiro. Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up extending his career by 4 or 5 years just because he could handle that one at bat every day or every other day. Especially in the National League, when you are always looking for a guy to come off the bench and get a hit for you. A ball and 2 strikes on Bogusevic. Swing and a miss. Fires, strikes him out.
There's that good curveball, keeping that down with 2 strikes. That's his first strikeout of the day. This has been a difference maker for Mike Fiers. That curveball going straight down and puts it right where he wants it on a 2-strike pitch down in the dirt.
That was a tumbler. Great shot of that curveball and the release. And Fiers uses that curveball in association with his fastball, which is not overpowering, but it's a riding fastball. And he picks up a lot of strikeouts with it.
Yeah, good changeup to go with it, and a cutter. He's been impressive, to say the least. Who would have thought?
Fiers deals strike 1 to Corcoran.
Remember his first start, talking about Mike Fiers as we go down memory lane at first inning when he struck out Matt Kemp. Everybody very impressed. Looking back, I mean, he's been doing that to everybody.
That's right. He has responded much better in a big league environment than he did in a minor league environment. He's a very studious guy. He's able to use all the tools that he has available to him in the big leagues, all the scouting reports and the video, as he jams Corcoran. And a 1-out double is stranded at second base. 2 scoreless in the books for Mike Fiers. This MLB on Fox season, Fox Sports is proud to support Boys and Girls Clubs of America, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens. To learn more, please visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. I've got a great group of Boys and Girls Clubs of America members here today at the ballpark. Ricky Weeks will start it off. He'll be followed by Lucroy and then Cesar Izturis. Brewers got a run off Lyles in the first inning, an unearned run. 2 errors committed in the inning and a walk. Weeks hitting .206 to start play today. Has 11 homers, 37 runs batted in. Baseball got loose. Ricky Weeks is 0 for 6 in this series, but over his last 7 games, he's hit for a .417 average, has a couple of home runs. He's driven in 4. He has a home run on this homestand. 6 hits and 20 at-bats during this homestand against Washington and Houston.
And a pretty good slugging percentage to go with it, so you're not talking about a bunch of singles to get that average up a little bit. We were talking about Ramirez and the way his batting average has been able to rise. Ricky got down to about 158.
That one's hit hard right center, base hit. And it gets by Bogasevic, and Weeks will keep on running on his way to third now. No throw. Another Astros error.
Yeah.
A single and a 2-base error in right field, and the Brewers immediately put a runner at third base.
And these are not tough plays by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, 2 errors at third by Scott Moore on relatively routine plays, and Ricky Weeks doing a nice job taking it to the opposite field. He showed you his numbers his last 7, doing a lot of that right there. And that goes right through the wickets. I mean, inexplicably. And a third error for the Astros, and Ricky in scoring position at third base.
Rewarded for his hustle as he ends up at third with nobody out. And those hits to right field starting to add up now for Weeks. He's been using that side of the field a great deal. That's typically when you see Weeks start to swing the bat better.
Yeah, curveball away, went right with it.
So here is Lucroy now. The Brewers a golden opportunity to put another one on the board. Well, Jordan Lyles has to be wondering what's going on behind him today. 3 errors already, 2 by the third baseman Moore, and now Bogasevic with 1. And I think all 3 you would consider routine plays for the most part.
And not tough at all.
Lucroy coming back from a broken hand this homestand. He returned to the lineup after 2 months away on Thursday. Bouncing ball to first, and Wallace will take it to the bag for the out. So Lucroy bounces out. Weeks still standing at third base.
The way the Astros have been swinging a bat and not scoring a lot of runs. Brad Mills brings his infield in. 8 and 9 hitters coming up.
Switch hitter Cesar is Turris now. And a bunt. It's down. Here comes Weeks. Nope. He'll stay put. Now he's coming home. And the throw to the plate is in time for the out. And the inning is over. The Astros get a double play out of it. And with a runner at third and nobody out to start the inning, the Brewers come up with a donut. Sports Wisconsin is presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. Back at Miller Park, head to the third inning, 1-0 Brewers. And Mike Fiers back to work as he starts it against Marwin Gonzalez, switch hitting Astros shortstop. 8-9-1 coming up for Houston. The Brewers have been able to use the squeeze bunt with great success this year, but that one went all wrong.
Kind of an odd time for it. Second inning. Turner's been swinging the bat okay. He might have done that one on his own.
There's a base hit to left. Gonzalez singles to start the third. Let's take you back to it. This is how the bottom of the second ended.
Now Ricky Weeks has to read the baseball off the bat. He takes off right away, and that's a good play over there at first base. And how about the block by Corcoran? He lays that leg right out there and cuts Ricky off, and they get the out. That's good defensive play by the Astros, who have been very bad defensively so far today.
Yeah, that was Jose Altuve making that pivot at first, essentially like a double play. It was in and out of his hands quickly for a double play that ended the inning. There's a bunt by Lyles, and Fiers will take his out at first base. Sack bunt for Jordan Lyles. Advances Marwin Gonzalez. Well, the Astros error didn't cost him in the second inning. A two-base error that allowed Weeks to reach third base with nobody out. Those are opportunities you must take advantage of. Top of the order here is Jordan Schaefer.
That's that fastball from Mike Fiers at 87 miles an hour that hitters just can't seem to get the bat head out on. You have guys throwing 94, 95 fastballs, same location, that get squared up and get rattled off into the gap somewhere, but for whatever reason. And Mike Fiers is able to keep that baseball off the sweet spot of the bat.
There's a bunt popped up. Fiers will give it a look, and it drops in foul territory. Fiers has that deception. Hitters always talk about picking up an area where the baseball comes out the release point, and obviously until the hand is in that area, you know, you don't see the baseball. And I remember Tony Gwynn, Ted Williams, some of the great hitters of all time, talking about where they focus their eyes prior to that release point. And with Fiers, I guess for a hitter, at least what you're hearing is that they just don't they don't see it. They don't find that baseball right away. So what is an 88 to 90 mile an hour fastball, you don't pick it up, it looks like a 93, 94 mile an hour fastball.
It plays a lot quicker, doesn't it? And a lot of hitters will tell you they look right at the bill of the cap of the pitcher, and they'll pick up a point out on the batter's eye somewhere, and that's what we're talking about right here. You really can't see the baseball until the last second when Fiers throws it, because he throws right over the top, stands tall, and just can't see the baseball out of his hands so well.
A ball and 2 strikes on Jordan Schaefer. Astros with a tying run at second base, and a curveball missed. 2-2 on Schaefer. Fiers relies on that deception. And just at the bottom of his rotation, right before he delivers the baseball, when his hand is at its lowest point, he shows you the baseball. Remember Rick Sutcliffe used to do that. Had a little wrap of the baseball and you would see it.
Yeah. Don Sutton had a little bit of that. That was kind of a Dodger thing back in the old days.
Fire's going through a number of different signs from Lucroy. There's the baseball right there.
But that's not where you want to be picking it up.
No, don't put your eyes there, right? But it's almost a magnet. You
Right.
see that white baseball. And
Yeah, you try and follow that arm around, you're in trouble.
yeah, you know how your Little League coach says, keep your eye on the ball? Not necessarily when you're a hitter.
Not in the windup. Can't follow that arm as he's getting ready to throw. Once he gets ready to throw, then you want to keep your eye on the baseball. That's kind of important to see where it's going.
Well, hitters, when they go into slumps, they tell you that they don't see the baseball. They're not seeing the baseball well. So you try to do what you can to keep your mechanics strong and have good hitting mechanics, but really it boils down to what you're seeing out of the hand. Bouncing ball. Nice play. Fires. And he has him in a rundown. And the out is made, but Schaefer is allowed to take second base there because of the rundown. Gonzalez did a good job to stay in it. Brewers probably could have executed that a little better.
Well, Fires did everything he had to do, and he's doing a lot of running. Remember, he went after that foul ball, and now he's got to, run at the base runner. You got to get him back to second base. He didn't get him going back hard enough. That's the problem that he had. He might be a little bit tired at this point, all the running he's done in this inning. But he does everything right. He kind of circles around. He forces Gonzalez back to second base, just doesn't get him back fast enough. And because of that, Schaefer's able to get into scoring position.
Schaefer is very fast, and he took off and was able to make it to second. That's no small play, especially with one of the Astros' best hitters coming up in Jose Altuve. So 2 outs with a runner at second. And Altuve squirts one into right field, a base hit. Here comes Schaefer, going to try to score. The throw to the plate is late. Altuve on his way to second. And we're all tied at 1.
That guy's a pain in the neck, isn't he? Altuve, he can hit. He doesn't always hit the ball very hard, but he's able to find holes more times than not. Altuve hitting over 300. Got a fastball in. He keeps the bat in the hitting zone a long time and able to muscle one over the infield and tie the game. So because Jordan Schaefer is able to get into scoring position on the rundown, Astros tie it up.
Now Altuve at second base for Scott Moore. It's good base running by the Astros, and it buys him a run in this third inning.
And Nigel Morgan not hitting the cutoff man, allowing now Altuve into scoring position. Got to hit the cutoff man.
Liner right to Weeks, makes the catch to end the inning. Moore robbed of a base hit. Fires gives up a run, all tied at 1.
Bottom of the third inning, and our social media now moves up a bit in the broadcast, and maybe a whole new perspective as we welcome in Sophia Minnaert into our broadcast now. And this whole time for social media, Sophia's actually been running our Twitter and all the interactions we've had at our account at FS Wisconsin. And now we're going to see more of Sophia Minnaert, and you're going to have our reports and our broadcast now. And what are you brewing up here on this first day game of your broadcast?
Well, Craig, news today, Aramis Ramirez and Mike Fiers were named Brewers Player and Pitcher of the Month. Now, Ramirez, he had a hot month at the plate in July. He hit .373 with 4 home runs and 21 RBIs, while Mike Fiers on the mound went 1-2 with an ERA of just over 1 and added 26 strikeouts. So, Brewers fans, we want to hear from you. Who do you think had the more impressive month of July, and why? You can tweet us at FS Wisconsin with the hashtag Ramirez or hashtag Fiers.
Excellent stuff, and Sophia, looking forward to that. We'll be back in the 7th inning for more, kind of a results, if you will, for our social media on Twitter. All right, guys, take it away.
All right, thanks a lot. Great to have Sophia with us. She's been working hard behind the scenes, and probably her biggest challenge is to get Bill Schroeder into the new age here in social media. She's done a good job.
Yeah, it's been fun.
She's working you down well.
She's very committed to what she's doing here at the ballpark.
As Fiers strikes out, and one gone here in the 3rd inning, all tied here at 1 apiece. A reminder that Saturday, August 4th, the UFC returns to Fox with 4 fights, including knockout artist Shogun Rua taking on Brandon Vera. Former UFC champ Lyoto Machida is on the card as well. He'll be facing Ryan Bader. UFC Fight Night on Fox, live from Los Angeles, Saturday, August 4th. 7 p.m. Central.
I'm not looking forward to the day that fight actually happens, because I love when you read that card. Shogun Rua.
Rua.
Nice.
Some good names. Nigel Morgan with 1 away. Jordan Lyles with his first strikeout. He has been able to work around 3 Astros errors behind him. Got a double play in the 1st inning off the bat of Corey Hart, and a double play to end the 2nd inning, a roundabout double play. Brewers were trying to steal a run with a bunt, and it did not work out. Astros covered it well. Morgan takes strike 2. His first start of the series. His playing time has been limited a great deal with the emergence of Carlos Gomez. Last year it was Nigel Morgan and Gomez as a platoon in center field. Morgan actually making his 2nd start of the series. And a bouncer over to first. And there is the 2nd out. 2 up, 2 down for Lyles, with Gomez coming up.
And Nigel Morgan had a very good opportunity to really take grasp of the center field job when Carlos Gomez went on the disabled list, but just was not able to do it. That's about the time that Oki really started to come into his own this year. It's all about taking advantage of opportunities. Carlos Gomez certainly has in the last couple of weeks.
Gomez walked in the 1st inning. He is 3 for 7 in this series. On the homestand, has a couple of home runs and 5 runs batted in. And a big swing. That ball's loose. Corcoran recovers and will secure the strikeout. So a 1-2-3 inning as Jordan Lyles puts up his best inning of the day. Tied at 1. We go to the 4th. series, the Brewers and the Astros, in our carsoup.com email the booth question. Ned in New Berlin asks, do you think Mike Fiers has a shot at winning NL Rookie of the Year?
Man, you never know. I mean, he's got 10 starts. He's got a couple of months left. What do you figure? 9 more starts? 10 more starts? If he continues to pitch like this, you figure he's got a pretty good shot, at least to be in a discussion anyway.
Well, there are some pretty popular candidates out there right now. Of course, Bryce Harper is one of the guys that is going to be tough to overcome. Bryce Harper with the Nationals, who at 19 made the All-Star team this year, and he's playing for a contender. Wade Miley of the Arizona Diamondbacks is another candidate. He was an All-Star, had a strong first half, and an 11-game winner. But Fiers coming onto the scene a little bit late. He would have to probably do something extraordinary like what he's doing right now. It'd be very tough to keep up this kind of pace in the big leagues.
Yeah, you mean like a 1.01 ERA in 4 July starts?
And by the way, don't forget Nori Aoki is a rookie, technically a rookie in the major leagues, and he's having a terrific year. Miley has now won 12 games. Harper with 9 homers, 29 runs batted in. So those are some of the top candidates that Fiers and Aoki will have to challenge.
Well, you don't know what's going to happen going forward, but right now, if I would have had to pick somebody, it would be Wade Miley.
Right.
Bryce Harper gets all the hype. He makes the All-Star team. Everybody's talking about how great he is. I mean, and he is a very good, talented player. But you know, we saw him in 4 games here at Miller Park. He missed one. He was sick, and just kind of didn't really do anything to really make your eyes pop out, in all honesty. But a young kid's not going to do that in every series. You get hot, you cool off, but he is going to be a good one.
1-2 on Wallace as he fouls that one away. Well, you might remember in Ryan Braun's rookie season of 2007, the year he won Rookie of the Year, he did not make his first major league appearance till late May. I believe it was the 26th of May. Fiers' first start in the big leagues this year was May 29th. Oh, good curveball that just missed. 2-2 the count. Fiers has had just 2 games as a big leaguer where he's given up more than 3 runs in a start. That happened twice back-to-back against the Pirates and the Padres. Gave up 4 runs apiece to those 2 teams. Other than that, he's been 2 runs or less. Fiers has given up just 1 earned run in his last 3 starts. And only 1 win to show for it. 7 shutout against the Cardinals in a no decision. With 6 1/3 shutout against the Nationals to pick up the win. That one's ripped deep right center field, and Wallace will watch this one sail out of here. The Astros have a 2-1 lead as Brett Wallace bangs out his 3rd home run of the season. And there was no doubt about that one.
That's the first home run allowed by Mike Fiers. Since June 3rd, his 2nd start, he gave up 2 home runs against the Pirates here at Miller Park. And on a 3-2 fastball, Brett Wallace centers on one and knocks one out of here, out into the Toyota territory. Hit that one pretty well. So on the 3rd home run allowed by Mike Fiers, that's still another impressive statistic.
Here's Ben Francisco. Astros acquired Francisco from the Blue Jays. Always thought of as a plus defender, Francisco. During that run by the Phillies, was used in defensive situations, late inning defensive replacements by Charlie Manuel. I remember he made a great catch as a Philly against the Colorado Rockies in the 2009 National League Division Series. A game-saving catch. The Phillies would go on to win that series and end up in the World Series once again against the Yankees that year. But he's bounced around a little bit lately. Phillies were in the news yesterday concerning their outfielders. They traded Hunter Pence to the Giants, traded Shane Victorino to the Dodgers. There's a strike call. Fires. Punches out Ben Francisco. Second strikeout for Mike Fiers.
Well, gets ahead in the count and able to throw that fastball right on the outside corner. Pitch before was a good cutter that Francisco swung right through. A home run ball that he gave up. That pitch was down. I mean, most of the fastballs that Mike Fiers has had success with have been fastballs up around the belt. High fastball, curveball down. That's been a good recipe for Mike Fiers.
Bogusevic tries to bunt his way aboard. The home run by Wallace gives the Astros the lead.
And you saw where the pitch was down around the knees. Left-handed batters like the ball down. Get that ball up a couple inches, he might pop it up.
Milwaukee had some opportunities in the first couple of innings to score some runs, add to their lead at the time. Didn't take advantage, and now the Astros are on top.
And you see the location of that pitch right about in here. You get that pitch up around here, I think the results are going to be a little bit different. And Brett Wallace is shown to be a very good low ball hitter.
And Wallace has been a home run hitter in the minor leagues. He's done about all he can do in the minor leagues. He's only 25. He had 16 homers earlier this year at Oklahoma City. I mean, he earned his call up. He's had a 20 home run season in the minor leagues.
Well, nothing more he can do in the minor leagues. He's got to prove it at this level.
Bogusevic lifts one in the air. Routine for Nyjer Morgan. And a good pitch had him out in front. Second out of the inning.
And hitting in the big leagues is all about making adjustments. You know, hitters, you know, the tendencies. Every pitcher out there has a good scouting report. They've seen video. You've got to be able to adjust on the fly, not just within the game. You have to be able to adjust at bat to at bat. Because pitchers, if they find a weakness, if the league finds a weakness on you, they're going to just wear you out with it because their command is pretty good for the most part. Not so much in the minor leagues.
Carlos Corcoran with two away. Corcoran bounced out to second in the second inning.
Hey, for Monday home games, fans can purchase Terrace reserve seats for just $8. That's courtesy of Miller High Life. Visit brewers.com/highlife. Offer excludes all marquee games.
Fires with two outs, 1-2 the count on Corcoran. And he got him, struck him out on a hook. Corcoran is out. Third strikeout for Fiers, but Brett Wallace delivers a home run to put the Astros on top. Fiers responds well with a couple of Ks.
Time to check in with the crew and the community. Today is YMCA Day at Miller Park as the Brewers host Metropolitan Milwaukee YMCA members. All members were offered discounted tickets for both loge, infield, and terrace box seats. And Brian, they have turned out in abundance here at Miller Park for today's ball game.
Yeah, it's good to see them. Say hey to our friends at the YMCA. There's a great Miracle League field at the YMCA in Brown Deer, or near Brown Deer. Ryan Braun leads off, and we head to the bottom of the fourth inning. 2-1 Astros on the Brett Wallace home run in the fourth. Well, Jordan Lyles has pretty good stuff here today. His defense let him down. The run that scored in the first was an unearned run. Brewers really haven't done much offensively. They have just one hit. That was a Ricky Weeks single.
And coming in, Jordan Lyles has been giving up a ton of base hits. He's throwing well today. He's got good command of a curveball and a changeup. And pretty good movement on his fastball so far. A little bit of tail on it, going in on a right-handed batter.
Two and two to Braun. And that one misses a little bit low. He's got good zip on his fastball, and he's, for the most part, been able to keep the ball down.
15 home runs he's allowed in his first 14 starts, but you're right. He's been able to stay on top of his sinker and keep the ball down for the most part.
And he loses Braun. He walked him. A leadoff walk to start the fourth.
Hey, the division leading Cincinnati Reds come to Miller Park for a short 3-game homestand on August 6th through the 8th. Tickets are going fast and available at Brewers.com or by calling 902-4000. A 3-game road trip followed by a 3-game homestand for Milwaukee. Unusual.
Well, the Reds still top the division. They lead the Pirates by 3 games. There's a strike to Ramirez. Cincinnati had their 10-game winning streak snapped 2 days ago. They came back to win last night over the San Diego Padres. Pittsburgh got a great start, a shutout, a one-hitter from A.J. Burnett against the Cubs last night. Reds have the best record in baseball, 62-41. Nationals are 61-41. That's how it looks in the Central right now as Ramirez pops it foul.
Yeah, but with that and a 10-game winning streak, the Pirates are only 3 games back. That's an impressive. That's almost impressive as Cincinnati's 10-game winning streak, the way the Pirates have been able to stay close.
And the Pirates have been able to stay close, dominating teams at home. They have the best home record, or the most home wins, 33-16, very similar to what the Brewers did at home last year at the same time. Brewers are 15 back of the first place Reds. The National League Central took a beating this offseason as far as pontificators go and how weak the division was as Ramirez strikes out. That seems to be the case a lot, and I think the Central, because of the 6 teams, I think that dynamic will change just a little bit. But you're talking about 2 of the top 3 records in the National League, the Reds and the Pirates, the 2 teams from the Central Division.
How do you spell that?
Pontificators?
Yeah.
Starts with a P, ends with an S.
So-called experts, are you trying to say?
Yes.
Pontificators, huh? Nice.
Well, you're an expert, but I didn't want to lump you in that. So you're not a pontificator.
No. I don't try and foresee the future too much. Pontificators are wrong a lot.
Yeah.
So I guess anybody can pontificate.
Sure.
I mean, you really don't lose anything if you're wrong, right?
Nope. You're just giving your opinion. On the rare chance it's right, your guess is right, then you're a genius. Yeah, I do it the whole time.
It's not like guessing a wrong stock pick.
It doesn't have as much.
There's consequences if you do that.
Exactly.
Because I guess if you're wrong enough, they're not going to listen to you anymore.
I don't know. There's been a few that have made quite a good living out of being wrong. There's a strike to Corey Hart as he shrugs his shoulders. Didn't like that call. 1-2 the count on Hart. Sitting on 20 homers for the season. Able to stay alive. Pretty good breaking ball there. Time now to take a look at our Jimmy John's high-speed delivery. Jordan Lyles topping out at 95. Fires at 90. Mike Fires with 3 strikeouts. Lyles has 3 as well. All 3 coming in the last 2 innings. Well, if Lyles starts dialing up his command on the inside corner, he's been close. He's missed in there a few times, but he's not missing by much. That could change the game quickly. That one's inside, and he got in on the hands of Corey Hart.
Yep, a little bit off the plate, but if you're going to miss inside, you want to miss in off the plate. You want to miss over the strike zone. That's when you can get hurt badly. So if he's missing in the right spot. He's either missing down or he's missing in.
Two and 2 to Hart. Bounced into a double play in the first inning. And the Astros are looking for another one here as he takes one down and in. You hear pitchers all the time talk about moving the feet of the hitter, pitching inside, not letting the hitters get comfortable, but it's being able to throw strikes inside that really pays off for a pitcher, especially a pitcher who has a good slider like Lyles does. Runner goes, and Hart whacks one into center field, a base hit. Braun easily to third base. Good piece of 2-strike hitting there by Corey Hart, and the Brewers in business in the 4th.
Hey, today's Tavern of the Game winner is Krabby Joe's in Waukesha. They call the Brewers in the next 24 hours. Krabby Joe's gets 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
First and third for Weeks. Just one out in the inning. We'll keep an eye on Corey Hart and see if he's on the move here. Weeks has the best hit ball of the day for the Brewers. He ripped one into right center in the second inning.
Stayed back nicely on the curve ball and smoked it into right.
Inside corner fastball for a strike. That's the one we're talking about.
Come on, Ricky.
Being able to pitch in there opens up the breaking ball for Lyles. Tough to cover both sides of the plate.
Right. It's much easier to cover up and down for a hitter than it is in and out. So if you're covering, throwing strikes both sides of the plate, you're going to have some success.
Corporate on his way out after a series of fastball suggestions, and that's also going to bring Doug Brocail to the mound. Quick trip to the mound for the Astros pitching coach.
Just trying to perhaps remind Lyles of You know, what has gotten him to this point right now, it's really been the fastball. Ricky Weeks jumped on a curveball his last time up, maybe just trying to refresh the young pitcher's memory as to what's been going on.
Well, Corcoran, instead of going to the breaking ball, which clearly is what Lyles wanted to throw, he just called timeout, went to the mound. A ball and a strike. See what he gives Weeks here. Fastball hit him. Lyles didn't look committed, and he hits Ricky Weeks.
And that's the key right there, my friend. That's a big thing. I mean, if a pitcher is adamant about a certain pitch and you have a disagreement with the catcher, you know, you always want to go with what the pitcher feels best throwing. Going to give him the best effort. That one not even close.
So Weeks takes one off the elbow pad. And now the bases are loaded. 2-1 Astros. Brewers threatening in a big way here. Bases loaded with one out. Lucroy at the plate. Back in there. There's a strike. Good fastball. Lucroy was reinstated off the disabled list on last Thursday. Spent some time in the minor leagues on a rehab assignment. Played 6 games down there. Career numbers with the bases loaded, outstanding. .357 hitter as a big leaguer. Gets jammed, a little flare. And Gonzalez will make the catch. Everybody has to stay put. Well, Lyles went right back in there and gets a big out here in the 4th inning.
And second time and he's been able to get Jonathan Lucroy on a fastball in. First time was grounded at first. This time made him up inside and got an easy pop out to short. You can see that fastball in has been a good pitch for Jordan Lyles so far.
And now 2 gone for Cesar Izturis. Izturis dropped down a bunt in the 2nd inning with a runner at 3rd and 1 out. Kind of an odd play in that situation with the pitcher coming up next. Not sure if Izturis bunted on his own or if it was supposed to be a squeeze bunt perhaps. It ended up essentially as a safety squeeze. Astros got it out at first and then threw Weeks out at the plate. A bouncing ball up the middle. Altuve shovels it to second and the ball's loose in the infield. Here comes Hart. He'll score. 2 runs are in.
Oh, just a comedy of errors for this Astros defense today. That'll be another one. Altuve trying to be a little bit too cute out there at second base. The shovel pass out of the glove. Not even close at second base. I would imagine that'll be a base hit for Izturis and an RBI, and another run scores on an error. Not a very smart play by Jose Altuve.
Trying to make too much out of it. 2-run score. The Brewers take the lead 3-2 on the 4th Astros error.
Hey, did a good job just getting to the baseball. Hold on to it. You got the pitcher coming up. Get him out, and it's a tie game. As a result, throws one away, and the Brewers take the lead.
Fire's still looking for his first big league hit. Two on, 2 outs, 4 Houston errors. Good base running by Hart. He was running with 2 outs on the crack of the bat and never slowed down. That ball got loose in the infield, and Hart kept on trucking.
Good coaching by Ed Cedar, making sure that Corey's going to make a good turn around second, or I should say around third base, and he's able to score.
scoring the go-ahead run. One of these days, there's a little flare in the right field waiting for Mike Fiers.
And here it comes, right here.
It's going to happen. Are you prognosticating now?
Pontificating.
Yes, you are.
I think there's a difference, though. I think I was prognosticating, actually.
Bouncing ball. Altuve. More conventional shovel to second, and the inning is over. But the Brewers get two. The Astros commit another error. Milwaukee takes a 3-2 lead.
Today, the Brewers able to score a run into first base without a base hit, an error committed at third base, scoring Morgan, who got on an error. It came into the third inning. Jose Altuve with a 2-out base hit into right field to score Jordan Schaefer. It was a Brett Wallace home run in the top of the fourth, giving the Astros a 2-1 lead. And then with the bases loaded, Turris with an infield hit. Altuve making the fourth Astros error, bringing in another run. So as we head to the fifth inning, the Brewers are holding a 3-2 lead.
It's the third time this year the Astros have committed 4 errors in a game. The season high for errors in a game, if you're wondering, is 6. That was the New York Mets earlier this year. So Fiers takes advantage and has a 3-2 lead to work with as we move to the fifth inning. Marwin Gonzalez leads off. And there's strike one. Houston with 2 runs on 4 hits. Scored a 2-out run in the third inning on an Altuve RBI, and then that Wallace home run was to lead off. Little bouncer to Hart. He'll take it himself. 1 gone in the Astros fifth. All right, Rock, our AT&T trivia today. Who was the last Brewers rookie pitcher to throw at least 100 innings in a season? You got to be good enough to last 100 innings to be given the ball to continue to make your starts. Mike Fiers coming into play today had 66 big league innings. Had 55 innings in the minor leagues before his promotion. At 100 inning numbers, typically a pretty good jumping off point for a rookie pitcher. As Lyles bounces one toward the middle, is Turris. Nice play for out number 2.
I'm thinking about that trivia question. It's a good one. I figure Fiers is going to get there.
rookie pitchers. I'm thinking maybe Giovanni Gallardo, but could have been one between Gallardo and now. Looking for the last one. Here's Jordan Schaefer with 2 away. And a curveball missed. Schaefer, some excellent base running in the 3rd inning. And that allowed the Astros to score that first run. He was able to advance to second base while his teammate Gonzalez was in a rundown between 2nd and 3rd. One and two on Schaefer. Fastball, strike on the corner. Caught Schaefer looking for something else. Well placed on the outer half, and it's 2-2.
And 2 pretty good pitches after falling behind 2-0.
Got him to chase one. Mike fires. Rocking the boat, as they say. Up, down, in and out. Picks up another strikeout. That's his 4th. Well, but his defense has let him down. Matter of fact, our Home Depot doing more on defense. The Astros doing a lot for the Brewers on defense today, or lack thereof. 4 errors in this game. 2 by the 3rd baseman Moore. A 2-base error by Bogusevic in right field, and a run-scoring error last inning from Altuve, trying to do just a little too much at second base. Nigel Morgan leads off. Brewers are at the top of their order with Morgan, Gomez, and Braun. In a 3-2 lead, just taking the lead last inning. Only one of the runs he has earned against Jordan Lyles. There's a little flare. That's going to fall for a base hit. Nigel Morgan is aboard. Well, this bat's starting to heat up. Reached on an error and scored a run in the 1st, and now he's aboard with a single.
Got a base hit off the bench in yesterday's ball game. As you take a look at the problems that the Houston Astros have had today, 2 unearned runs, 4 errors in the game, 2 in the 1st inning. How about the Mets. A 6-error game back on April 27th.
Wow. Those are hard to stomach. Gomez shows bunt, takes a strike. Tom Hodgeport of the Journal Sentinel had a good line. He said the Astros have more errors through 4 innings today than they did victories in July. 4 errors in this ball game. The Astros won just 3 games in July. Ready to turn the page on a new month. Houston was hanging in there the first couple of months of the season. I mean, they had a very young team, but they had some pieces in place. Little flare to right. Bogusevic deep, and that will fall. A base hit. So a couple of base hits off the end of the bat, and the Brewers put 2 on to start it. Just a reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers Baseball Club. Here comes Braun with 2 on and nobody out. Chance for Milwaukee to add to their lead. Braun walked and scored last inning. Grounded out his first time up. Ryan Braun has a couple of different size bats that he uses throughout the course of a season. He changes the weight and the length, and I wonder now with a hand injury, Rock, if he's going to the smaller version of the bat. He said sometimes you don't feel strong. And we're only talking about ounces here. It's not a huge
half ounce, full ounce, maybe a ½ inch on the length of the bat. Doesn't take much to make a difference in that swing weight. I figure he might have made an adjustment. I mean, he might not be able to use as heavy a bat because of that blister problem that he's having with his bottom hand.
Well, he's down 0-2. Nyjer Morgan at second. Carlos Gomez at first. Great speed on the bags. And there they go. And the throw to third base is not in time. Morgan gets under the tag. Almost overslid the bag.
Looked like the ball beat and the throw is a little bit high. And Brad Mills is going to once again make a walk out to third base. I don't blame him here. This is a pretty good throw by Corcoran. A little high, but let's check it out right here. Yeah, he's safe. Pretty good call over there by Brian Knight at third base. Could have gone either way, but the throw beats him. It looks like he might be out.
Yeah, looks like he got him.
Hard to tell, but the Brewers have gotten every break on the bases in this entire series.
So it'll be a double steal, and there's the look that shows that Morgan was out.
Glove on the back right there. It looked on normal speed like he was out. On the first replay, it looked like he was safe, but on that one, it's clearly looked out. Of course, the umpire doesn't have the benefit of all those.
So that's a break for the Brewers. Now second and third for Braun. Morgan and Gomez credited with stolen bases there. And Braun back up the middle, and that will sneak through a base hit. Morgan is in. Here comes Gomez. He'll score. Ryan Braun takes advantage of the drawn-in infield. A 2 RBI single. And the Brewers have a 5-2 lead.
And that's the problem with the drawn-in infield with your best hitter at the plate. If the infield's back, that's a run, but that second run, Gomez isn't going to be able to score. And he just sneaks it out of the reach of Marwin Gonzalez for 2 RBIs. Well, Brewers doing a nice job once again on the bases and executing today.
Braun now with 72 runs batted in. That inches him closer to the National League leader in RBIs, Carlos Beltran, who has 75. Braun now tied with Jason Kubel for second in the league. Aramis Ramirez with Braun at first. See if Braun is running here. They fooled him. Got him to chase a breaking ball. It's 1-1. Pitch count starting to rise for Lyles. He's at 80 now. That fourth inning really cost him a 28 pitch inning. Brewers were able to score twice, but there was a costly error in that inning. You can see all the pieces with Lyles, though. I mean, you can understand why the Astros are still rolling him out there every 5 days. He's got good stuff. He throws hard. Just seems to be composed.
Just inconsistent, and that's what happens when you're only 21.
And probably pushed to the major leagues a little earlier than most would be in another organization.
He does have the pitches. I mean, he's got seems like, as you mentioned, he's got a good presence out on the mound and doesn't seem to get rattled by too much. 4 errors behind you is going to rattle most guys.
I could see Jordan Lyles turning into a pretty good major league pitcher. He's just worried about his confidence at this level. What he's doing now is what a lot of pitchers are learning in AA and AAA at this time.
Right.
I mean, there's even guys his age in A-ball. Figure he's the age of a college senior, or going into his senior year. So the Astros must believe he can handle some of the disappointment at the big leagues. No, they wouldn't have him up here. That was the argument with Tyler Thornburg. You know, push him to the major leagues to see what he can do when he made a fill-in start earlier this season. I remember Doug Melvin saying, you know, he's one of those guys mentally that can handle a lot, and that is part of the picture, part of the development when you give a guy a chance in the big leagues.
Some organizations feel as though it really doesn't bother pitchers too much, or position players to bring them up early to struggle, but the Brewers are very committed to the way that they want to go about doing that.
Ramirez flies out to right. Braun will tag. He'll stop as a good throw comes in from right field.
Brewers have that organizational philosophy. They'd rather have a guy a little bit too long at one level than to rush him to the next level. They want to have that success. You know, understand what success is all about, as opposed to rushing them through the levels of the minor leagues. And so sometimes when these kids, they sign these days, they have these things in their contract. They got to be such and such, and you got to be at the big league camp, and got to make it be a September call-up. I mean, that just does you a disservice. Agents don't understand those things. They don't understand player development as much as the organizations do.
That is a pretty bright spotlight in the big leagues. And I think that's where a lot of the issues came up with Brett Laurie when he was drafted. You know, he wanted to be on the fast track. Every player does, but you start refusing assignments.
Alienate yourself from your teammates. That's never a good thing.
Brewers have had a lot of success developing players, especially position players. They've had this great run of drafting players, bringing them to the big leagues. Guys like Braun and Fielder, Hart, Ricky Weeks, J.J. Hardy's on that list. That one skips away from Corcoran, and Braun ends up at second base on a wild pitch.
Jonathan Lucroy, another guy that has spent some time in the minor leagues, and an example of a guy that was rushed to the big leagues very quickly, but that was out of necessity. Not because they wanted to, but it worked out pretty well.
And they felt like Lucroy was a guy who could could handle the disappointment. There was a lot of it when he first arrived, not just at the plate either. Catching, learning how to call a game. It's always a fascinating subject. His heart goes down the left field line. That is going to stay fair. One hop off the wall. Braun scores. Corey Hart into second with a double. Another multi-hit game for Corey Hart. Another extra base hit. And the Brewers have a 6-2 lead.
Just kind of had a dead sound because he got it off the end of the bat. Watch the pitch. Actually, he might have got in on his hands, but Corey Hart's strong enough. He has that leverage, being a big, tall guy, able to get down that left field line. And Ryan Braun able to walk home, and Corey Hart trades places with Braun at second base.
The wild pitch pays off. Braun has scored 2 runs today. Hart now with 54 runs batted in. Back to the mound goes Doug Brocail, the pitching coach.
Well, you see it is down on the trademark just a little bit. That's why it had that dead sound to it, but he put it in a very good spot, able to pull it down the line. They had Francisco shaded around a little bit in the gap in left center.
Astros bullpen has some activity. Brocail might be buying a little time for Fernando Rodriguez. By the way, that run scored for Ryan Braun is second of the game, and his 71st run scored of the season. That leads the National League. Another element to Braun's game that is always among the league leaders, and now he's atop the National League in that category.
And about a third of those he drove himself in.
That's right. 28 of them anyway. Ricky Weeks into deep right center field. That ball's well hit, and it's gone. A 2-run home run. And the Brewers are pouring it on here in the 5th inning. 5 runs are in. It's 8-2 Milwaukee as Weeks bangs out number 12.
And another opposite field home run for Ricky Weeks, and both of his hits have come to right field. That's that curveball again. Maybe cutter. And Ricky able to wade back. Nice easy swing. Not over swing at all. And ball just jumping off his bat. Off that back wall. In right center.
Second hit of the day for Weeks. Has a double and a homer. Actually a single and a homer. Both to the opposite field. Lucroy takes one low. Well, wouldn't you know it, right after the visit to the mound, Weeks gets one he can handle and does not miss it. Bangs it off the back wall behind the outfield fence.
And both base hits for Ricky Weeks today are pitches that if he tries to pull, he's probably going to be out. Curveball, that time a cutter. I think it was a cutter. Had a little bit of a wrinkle in it right at the end. Goes right with it.
Brewers won 10-1 yesterday. Their offense continues to produce. That is a home run sound right there off the bat of Ricky Weeks.
And a nice level swing, no uppercut. Stayed right in there. That front shoulder stayed tucked, and he drove it out of here to right center.
Lucroy got one in on the hands a little bit. Schaefer is over. And he's gone for the second out. As much batting practice as you and I watch every day, it's always, you can almost close your eyes during Brewers BP, and it's either Braun or Weeks making that kind of sound with the bat. This guy's put such a big swing on it. Crazy bat speed.
And best part of the day, leaning up against that batting cage watching BP.
I was just going to say that.
Talking to guys.
That is. Calm before the storm, right?
Yeah. Nice and relaxing. The smell of the pine tar down there. Just like sitting on the beach for most of us. Yeah, most people think sitting on the beach, around the pool, you know, adult beverage in your hand. I just soon be around the batting cage. That's how messed up I am.
I'm sure there are people who sit on the beach and go, you know, I would love to be standing at the batting cage sniffing pine tar right now. His Turris down the right field line. That ball's pretty well hit. And that one is up and out of here. Cesaris Turris goes deep. How about that? His second of the season. And it's 9-2, an unexpected power source. Cesaris Turris.
You got to wonder how long the Astros are going to leave Jordan Lyles out there. 9 runs on the board now. And Cesaris Turris, our Pizza Hut delivery of the game, a breaking ball that he's able to pull the hands in and rip right down that right field line. Question was it going to be high enough? And it was.
Fires, bounces one to second, and the side is retired. But what an inning. 9 batters to the plate, 6-run score. 9-2 Milwaukee. The 5th inning, and they've opened up a big lead on the Astros. Looking for the sweep of the Astros here today. Which player on the Packers defense is ready for a breakout season? Coach Mike McCarthy's answer to that question might surprise you. You can read Paul Emmek's story and the rest of his coverage from Packers training camp at foxsportswisconsin.com. Yeah, we'll have some NFL preseason games coming up this month. It is the 1st of August, and in just a couple of weeks, as a matter of fact. Turning the page to a new month. 2 months left in the regular season of the baseball schedule, and then you've got the wild card play-in games to start the postseason. And then the division series, followed by the league championship series, and then the World Series. It's starting to get it to be an exciting time in baseball. The Brewers are hoping to start putting some wins together.
If the season ended right now, the Angels and the Oakland A's would be in the wild card spot.
It's a head scratcher. A's didn't do much. Their only trade was with the Brewers, as a matter of fact,
right,
for a backup catcher, George Gataris.
So right now there would be 3 teams in the American League West in the postseason.
And they can play each other. Part of the new rules, the extra layer of wild card team.
3 out of 4. That's not bad. 4 teams in that Western Division. Right now, Atlanta and Pittsburgh would be the wild card winners.
And the team with the best record that wins the division will play the winner of the wild card elimination round game, the play-in game. And you could play your own division. It used to be you couldn't play a team from the same division in the division series, but that's not the case anymore.
That's a good rule change.
Yep. And it will start, the series will start at the home of the wild card winner as Altuve strikes out. Mike Fiers picks up his first out of the 6th inning on his 5th strikeout. Who was the last Brewers rookie pitcher to throw at least 100 innings in a season is our AT&T trivia. And if you said Giovanni Gallardo, you would be correct. That was in 07.
You gave it away.
Yes, I did.
But I noticed there wasn't anybody upset with you like you are with me.
That was just an honest guess.
That was a good one.
Normally you're a dishonest sabotage of the trivia.
Saboteur. It's okay. I've been very quiet on the trivia questions this year.
I noticed
have been
that.
Called on the carpet too many times.
That's okay. It's not really for you. A good trivia question would be, prior to Gallardo, who was the last rookie pitcher? As Moore flares one into center field, a base hit.
And that would be Ben Sheets. Back in 01. Ben Sheets had 151 in the 3rd innings out there in the mound in his rookie year.
First year at Miller Park. 4th inning, Brett Wallace stepped up in a 1-1 game and delivered one deep into right center field. That was his 3rd home run in the big leagues this year. Had 16 in the minor leagues prior to his call up. And at the time gave the Astros a 2-1 lead.
Those are the kind of swings that keep the Astros very excited about Brett Wallace. Nice easy swing as opposed to that one. A little bit of a wild swing on a curveball. It's all about consistency at this level. And when you're young, you're going to be inconsistent.
Started his career in the Cardinals system, and then he went to Oakland. He was traded to Oakland. A year in the Blue Jays system before being traded to the Astros. Came to the Astros in 2011. He's been a great hitter in the minor leagues. He's hit for average. He's hit for power. He's been a big run producer. A .307 career minor league hitter.
Nothing left to do in AAA.
Yep. Now it's his time in the big leagues to see if he can make the transition. And you figure he's going to get a lot of playing time the rest of this year. That's a pretty good stroke right there as he slaps one into left.
3 consecutive curveballs by Mike Fiers. The first 2 down in the dirt. That one he left up in the strike zone. And giving Brett Wallace an opportunity to get a bat on it. Hey, get a Corey's Corner ticket package for $35. That includes your outfield ticket and a Corey Hart t-shirt. A portion of the proceeds benefit the American Heart Association. Visit brewers.com/heart.
9-2 Brew Crew as we play in the 6th inning. And Fiers trying to keep it rolling here. His pitch count is at 80. He's been pretty economical in this game so far. Ben Francisco with 1 away. Francisco has one of the 6 Astros hits. He doubled back in the 2nd. That was the first hit of the day. Ben Francisco, no relation to Juan Francisco or San Francisco. Little tapper foul. Juan Francisco with the Atlanta Braves now.
Where's San at? Where's he playing?
He's out in the Bay Area. Strike. That's a cut fastball there from Fires.
Yeah, and the dandy right on the outside corner at the knees. Pretty good pitch.
1-2 now. Astros with a runner at second. That is Moore. The runner at first is Wallace. Fires looking for a double play ball. Francisco fouls it away. Francisco ready to hit. It's a long time to be in a batting stance. And a breaking ball misses low.
And you don't have any movement for that long of a period of time. You kind of tense up a little bit. At least a lot of hitters do. These guys will have some type of a movement, whether it be with the hands or with the legs, rocking back and forth.
HOU Gaming text question: what is the key to Mike Fiers' success, seeing as he doesn't overpower hitters? John in Sturgeon Bay. 2-2. And a foul out of play.
Well, Mike Fiers mixes his pitches extremely well. He throws strikes with everything. And because of his good off-speed pitches, and he's able to throw strikes with them, he's able to get a lot of average fastballs, 88, 89 miles an hour by hitters. That's the key to his success. Good control of all of his pitches.
Two and two. We'll do it again. Fires a long look. And another foul out of play.
That's what we're talking about. You know, he started him off with some breaking pitches and throwing back-to-back fastballs, and Francisco behind both of them. You're never sure what you're going to get when you have a pitcher out there that's throwing all of his pitches for strikes.
A thinking man's pitcher is from the Miami area, South Florida. Two on, one away. Good battle here between Francisco and Fiers. And a strike called on the inside corner. Mike Fiers spots the fastball, and down goes Francisco. That's the 6th strikeout for Fiers.
Yeah, first pitch for a strike, he was able to catch that inside corner. There it is, four-seam fastball. Lucroy holds it there nicely for Wally Bell, who rings him up.
Still 2 on, now 2 away. Fiers' last 3 outs have been via the strikeout. And here's Bogusevic. Swing and a miss. Had a big rip at a first pitch curveball.
You see the grip on that, and you can see the laces coming around in this direction. You can see it's a four-seam fastball. You get your best velocity and your best location. You can put it where you want it pretty much. There's a curveball right there. Fingers on top of the baseball. That's that straight overhand curveball. And then you have the changeup that Mike Fiers is throwing pretty well.
Well, a pitch in the dirt. Both runners will advance. A wild pitch. Where would you put Fiers' curveball right now? You've had a chance to see him a little bit. I mean, you caught Don Sutton had one of the great curveballs ever.
Red Blyleven. He's got a ways to go to be compared to those two.
Right.
But I will tell you that he throws his curveball for strikes, as consistently as anybody that ever, caught a big curveball like that. Sometimes those pitches break so much that it's tough to get him for a called strike. For instance, that Giovanni Gallardo curveball, that strikeout curveball, the Ben Sheets curveball was a tough pitch to throw for a called strike. The good one, the one that he threw hard. Most guys that have a curveball like Fires will have two different. One for a strike early in the count, and then the put-away curveball. You see that from Gallardo quite a bit.
The get-over curveball.
Get me over curveball.
Second and third, and Bogusevic takes a strike. 2-2.
Tell you who else had a pretty good curveball back in the day was Chuck Finley. Fastball curveball split for Chuck Finley, the lefty. Teddy Higuera had a good one.
Well, we'll see if Fires can work through this sixth inning, trying to strike out the side. And a bouncing ball, fair. Hart will take it to the bag. Fires strands a pair of Astros. 2 strikeouts in the process. Still 9-2. Reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Miller Lite, because when friends come together, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. 9-2, the Brewers lead the Astros, and a new hurler on the mound for Houston, Fernando Rodriguez Jr. On the mound for the Astros. Lyles goes 5 innings, 9 runs, 7 earned. Things got away from him in a big way in the 5th. He gave up 6 runs in the 5th inning. And the numbers for Fernando Rodriguez, his 47th appearance of the season.
He's been much better since the All-Star break. He's only allowed 8 runs in, or I should say 3 earned runs in his last 8 innings. That's 9 appearances, and that's a .338 earned run average. Averaging about a strikeout per innings pitched this year. He's got a good arm.
Time now for the AT&T Uverse Reverse Replay. Take it back to Nigel Morgan. The benefit of a call, perhaps, for the Brewers. Looked like he was out. Got the safe call. And the Brewers cashed it in big time. Ryan Braun would drive in Morgan and Gomez with a base hit. And then Milwaukee would score 4 more runs in that inning. A 2-run homer by Weeks. A solo home run by Cesar Izturis. So Morgan leads off just as he did in the 5th. after the Brewers batted around. 6 runs on 6 hits in the 5th against Lyles. Astros have committed 4 errors in this game, leading to 2 unearned runs on Lyles' line this afternoon. That stolen base for Nigel Morgan we showed you was his 10th of the year. Gomez was right behind him with a steal, number 20. Swing and a miss. Morgan strikes out.
There's that good arm we were talking about. 95 miles per hour with the fastball for Rodriguez right there. Get it up in that location, tough to get a piece of.
Here's Carlos Gomez at the plate, presented by Wendy's. Walked in the first. Had a single and a run scored last inning in the 5th.
I was sitting here thinking about all the stolen bases that the Brewers have had lately. They stole a ton against the Nationals. They've been running wild against the Astros. They're now 3rd in the National League in stolen bases.
Starting to creep up a couple of different statistical categories. Stolen bases, defense.
Right.
Committing the 5th fewest errors in the National League.
They are leading the National League in sacrifice bunts.
Well, it's hard to quantify what the Brewers have been able to do because they've been losing, and obviously the late inning bullpen situation has been a disaster. But you know, we've been saying the Brewers are playing good baseball. They're getting a lot of production from a number of different players. Braun's just doing what he normally does, but Gomez has been on a great run. Ramirez, Ricky Weeks starting to hit. Starting pitching has been pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's not really showing up as a warm and fuzzy because the Brewers have been giving up late leads.
But you don't get anything for all those things, right?
Exactly.
It's all about wins and losses. That's what everybody talks about.
Well, a once-in-a-generation event is taking place at Miller Park on Saturday, August 11th, as the Stars and Stripes Honor Flight presents Field of Honor, a salute to the greatest generation. The event will bring together thousands of World War II veterans and vets from other conflicts, their families, friends, and communities. Tickets for this event can be purchased online at starsandstripeshonorflight.org or brewers.com/Field of Honor. Sounds like a great event.
Yeah.
We just had a terrific event on Sunday out at the Legends of Brandy Brook, the Heroes for Kids, that benefited a number of military charities. Raised a bunch of money. Ron Renicky was there, and Garth Orge. Saw Chris Narveson and Craig Counsell all attending. Chris Narveson said his rehab's going very well.
Yeah. Talked to Chris about once a homestand, see how things are going. He's progressing nicely.
He's starting to throw soon.
Did he drop any coin out there at the event?
You know, if they did it in secret, which is the way they like to do it. Unlike Marcotte, who was right out in front.
Well, you have the silent auction, right?
Right.
And then you have the voice auction.
I know Garth Orge, he invested in, you know, some of those range finders that you use on the golf course.
Right, yeah.
So his golf game will be improving significantly.
Can he actually find golf balls? Can you use those to find balls? I might get one of those.
Yeah, the golf ball finder now, that's going to be a big hit. Whoever invents that one. Now if we could just get Garth Orge to know the difference between a 6-iron and a 9-iron. Be good to go. There's Garth.
Garth hits him pretty good.
Yeah, he does. In proper context.
Yeah, next to me. He's real good. Next to the rest of you, maybe not.
Now, it was a great event, though. They raised a bunch of money, and David Faherty was there, entertaining the crowd. enjoyed that.
He's a funny guy, interesting guy.
Yeah, he's very funny. David Faraday kind of falls into the Bob Uecker category. You know, he's a sports announcer. Faraday's a golf announcer. Played professional golf. Uecker is a former Major League Baseball player who is a baseball announcer. But really, what they are genius comedians acting as in the role of a sports commentator.
Kind of straight-faced, all their lines, and self-deprecating.
Yeah, I'd love to get those two in a room together, Faraday and Mr. Baseball.
Come on, Ryan, let's go.
David Faraday asked how the Brewers were doing, and I said, well, it's been a bit of a struggle this year. He goes, it's a drinking town with a baseball problem. Out of thin air, he pulled that one.
He actually said that? Just make that up.
No, he said that.
Oh, he said that.
I couldn't make that up.
All right.
No, I wouldn't plagiarize that. If I had thought of something that funny, I would claim it. Pitch number 9 of this at bat against Ryan Braun. And he'll see another one. Braun drove in 2 runs in the 5th inning. Astros brought their infield in. And Braun hit a bouncer right back up the middle, just past a diving shortstop, Marwin Gonzalez. 2 RBI single for Braun gives him 72 ribbies. Ramirez is second on the club with 67 RBIs. Wow, what an at bat.
And 96, his best fastball. Ryan's still able to get a piece.
He's saying, I could be there one day. I could hit this guy. Mesmerized. Another foul out of play. Ryan Braun going through all of the commissioner's baseballs here. Get a new bag.
He's seen just about every one of Rodriguez's pitches. He's seen the changeup, he's seen the curveball, but most of the pitches lately have been all fastballs in the mid-90s.
His 4th at bat, he's seen 30 pitches. This will be number 12. Full count, 2 outs. Somewhere Luke Appling is smiling. The old White Sox. Story goes that Luke Appling was so upset at Charlie Comiskey, the owner of the White Sox, that he just kept fouling pitches off on purpose.
Nice to be able to do that.
To add to the bill.
Yeah. It's 6 straight foul balls by Ryan Braun.
Pitch number 13 of the at bat. I mean, this is like an exact replay. He's hit 3 foul balls in that same section. Oh, he's only imagining what Braun's going to do next.
He's got the rope necklace. That's big league.
Yeah, it is. That one's driven to right, way back, and right just like he'd hoped for.
On pitch number 14.
Amazing.
How about that at bat?
Put that one on the reel for Ryan Braun.
And that was smoke. Every fastball that Rodriguez threw to him after pitch number 6, pretty much in the same spot. Look how quick, short that stroke is by Ryan Braun, and he just knocks it out of here on a line. With some kind of ability. Strong. Nice easy swing, and look at that ball jump off his bat.
14 pitches. That's one of the great at-bats of the season. Just fouling pitch after pitch. Well, it is a joy to watch him play baseball, especially swing the bat. 10-2 Milwaukee. And Ramirez on the first pitch. Down the line. And Ramirez thinking about 2. He's on his way. A double for Aramis Ramirez. And that's a significant double. Puts Aramis Ramirez in a tie atop the National League with Joey Votto. That's his 36th.
And after 8 consecutive fastballs to Ryan Braun, he threw a slider, and Ramirez waits back and knocks it down the left field line.
Take it back to the Braun home run.
Just a perfect swing on a pitch away. Watch where on the right where he makes contact with his baseball. I mean, that's just picture perfect on a pitch away. And look at the way he's able to stay down and through the baseball. That bat angle is right down and through, and that's what you want to do. That shoulder is down. A lot of guys, that shoulder stays up, which means that he's going to be able to stay on top of it and hit a line drive. A lot of guys on a pitch away are going to drop that shoulder. That front elbow comes up, and everything goes up in the air, a little pop-up, but not with Ryan Braun. Ability to stay on top, go down and through, and get that good backspin. That's where you get the carry.
And just his ability to make adjustments. You know, Rodriguez is pumping the fastballs in, and Braun's late. He keeps fouling it off to the right. He's late. Pitch after pitch after pitch. Rodriguez, you can imagine he's saying to himself, well, he can't turn on my fastball. I'm not going to give him a breaking ball. Boom. Gets one he can handle, and he doesn't miss.
Yep, bat over the plate, up a little bit.
10-2. The Brewers have 3 home runs in the last 2 innings. As Corey Hart takes ball 1. Two outs in the inning. Ryan Braun now with 73 runs batted in. As Hart rips one into the shift. Marwin Gonzalez for the final out. Inning is over. A 14-pitch at bat by Ryan Braun results in a home run and a 10-2 lead. Astros errors leading to 2 unearned runs. Brewers have been able to take advantage. They have 10 runs on 11 hits. Brewers coming up with a 6-run 5th inning. Ryan Braun drove in a pair in that 5th inning. And then it was Corey Hart. He drove in a run with a double, drove in Braun. Ricky Weeks then in a 2-run homer. This is all in the 5th inning. Cesar Turris capped the scoring with a home run. And then Braun added to it with a homer in the 6th. His 29th home run of the season. And Mike Fiers has been staked to a big lead against the Astros as the Brewers look for the sweep. 10-2 Milwaukee. Top of the 7th inning. Carlos Corcoran will lead off.
And lost in all this offense. Another very good pitching performance by Mike Fiers. 6 innings now. Couple of earned runs, no walks. Once again, I mean, just continues to pound the strike zone. His pitch count at 94.
We'll probably see him go one more inning unless he runs into trouble here in the 7th. Day off tomorrow for Milwaukee. The pitching rotation is set for the St. Louis series. Cardinals start the day today 7 back of the Cincinnati Reds. It's Corcoran right off the end of the bat. He delivers one to right, a base hit. The lead runner on for the Astros.
A little change up that Corcoran's able to stay back long enough and just dump into right. Not hit all that hard, but it was up a little bit and Corcoran able to get his hit.
For the St. Louis series, it'll be Randy Wolf on Friday. Mark Rogers gets another start. That'll be Saturday night, and then Marco Estrada on Sunday. Sunday is the night game on national television. We'll have the first 2 on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Sunday's game on ESPN. Marwin Gonzalez with a runner at first. And it's 0-2. Fiers keeps pouring in the strikes. It's one of the things you love about Fiers, and that was his scouting report when he came to the big leagues. A strike thrower who is not afraid to pound the strike zone, even if he does get down in a count. And when you can throw all 3 pitches or 4 pitches for strikes, which he's been able to do for the most part since he's been in the big leagues, that gives you a pretty good arsenal.
It's really been the curveball and the cutter today. You haven't seen too many changeups. Ordinarily he's going to throw a few changeups. Astros have 5 left-handed bats in their lineup today, and Fiers done a nice job neutralizing them.
Into center field, a base hit. Marwin Gonzalez follows Corcoran with a single, and now 2 on to start this inning.
Now 1-2 fastball up in the strike zone, perhaps tiring just a little bit. You don't always lose velocity when you get tired. You lose location. You don't put the ball where you want it. You leave it up. And it looks like that's going to be it for Mike Fiers today. Another good job.
Yep, very good. 6+ innings. And Ron Renicky will make the double switch. So we'll set up the new pitcher when we come back. Fiers is out, a chance to win today. will exit with a chance to win. No walks, 6 strikeouts today for Fires after he gave up that second hit. Sees Ron Renicky on his way out, and he knows his day is done. Wanted to try to get through one more inning, but a nice ovation for him as he exits. Well, he has been something else for the Brewers, and still will have a couple of runners that are his responsibility, but at this point 2 earned runs and 6+ as he gives way to Jose Veras.
Yeah, 40th appearance for Veras, an ERA just a little bit over 5. Giving up to 4 home runs, 47 strikeouts though in 43 innings. It's all about the curveball for Jose Veras. And he has that mid-90s fastball to go with it. Last pitched on Sunday against the Nationals. Gave up a couple of runs in an inning and a third of work.
Travis Ishikawa will come in on the double switch. Looks like Renicky wants to get multiple innings out of Veras today. So it'll be Ishikawa that goes into the 9 spot. Good chance to try to get some relievers right on the mound. Frankie Rodriguez pitched last night and in a blowout game got the final 3 outs and a 3-up 3-down inning. Justin Maxwell will be pinch hitting here. So Fernando Rodriguez is out. Two on, nobody out. We play in the 7th in a 10-2 ball game with the Brewers on top. As of now, Fires with 6 innings, 2 runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts. He continues to rack up the Ks.
Yeah, only 16 walks this year in 11 starts and 73 punch-outs. Those are Zach Greinke type numbers.
Yeah, you're right. 72 innings.
Right.
4 strikeouts and innings pitched.
I mean, with respect to walks and strikeouts, the ratio.
Ball and a strike on Maxwell. Jose Veras looking for that ground ball to turn 2. Swing and a miss. 1-2 the count. Well, a good ratio in the big leagues. Strikeouts to walks is, you know, like 2.5, 3-1, something like that. That's considered good. Mike Fires a 4.5 to 1 strikeout to walk ratio. In the air to right. Nigel Morgan right there. And there is out number 1. Corcoran will tag. He'll end up at third base. First out of the inning. Back to the top of the order, Jordan Schaefer.
Man, when Veras is able to get that curveball over for strikes, all of a sudden that fastball becomes very effective, particularly when he gets it up around belt high. He keeps it down. That's when it becomes a little bit hittable. But when he gets into trouble, he has a tough time throwing the curveball for strikes. And that's the way it is with most.
So here is Schaefer, who is hitless in the series. First and third with 1 away. There's a big fastball. A victory today for Milwaukee would make it a sweep and would make it a winning homestand. Brewers right back here Monday against the Reds. Hope you'll make plans to join us at Miller Park. It's always a good hit when you can do the State Fair and do a Brewers game. State Fairgrounds, not too far from Miller Park, just a couple of miles up the road on Highway 94.
Yep, cream puffs and a ball game.
That's a good day.
Notice we got another delivery today.
Our buddies from Bell Ambulance have been sending cream puffs at an alarming rate. I think they want us to be in the ambulance as customers.
Just trying to be nice.
That's nice. It is nice. They've been consumed. Swing and a miss. Struck him out with a fastball. Jose Veras with a little life on his fastball. The second out of the inning.
And check out where it is. Yeah, about belled high with a little bit of movement on it, and Jordan Schaefer right underneath.
Kind of looks like it wants to sink, but it stays right up and right by Schaefer, who swung under it twice.
It doesn't have a sink, it tails. It's got a little bit of a tail to it. Not much of a dip to it.
Altuve with 2 away. Well, you know, Veras would love to strand a couple of inherited runners here and protect that pitching line of Mike Fiers. Those 2 runners that are on, still his responsibility.
He's done a good job in that regard. He's only allowed 3 of 18 inherited runners to score this year. And that for me is the major statistic for a relief pitcher coming in. Not so much ERA. One thing to keep your own runs from scoring, but what do you do when you come in with men on base? Veras has done a pretty good job. There's that curveball right at the bottom of the zone.
Tried another one. 2 balls and a strike. Altuve has an RBI single in this game. He's hitting over .450 against the Brewers this season. But it's nice to have him up when your team leads 10-2. Cubs and Pirates are in the bottom of the 7th. Pittsburgh has a 2-1 lead. Another great pitching performance from the Pirates. A.J. Burnett threw a 1-hit shutout yesterday. Today it's Jeff Karstens. Three and 2 to Altuve. Veras came into this game with 2 on and nobody out. Got Maxwell on a fly ball out. He struck out Schaefer. And trying to retire Altuve to end it. Popped him up. Foul territory. Ishikawa toward the rail, and that one's in the seats. Count remains at 3 and 2.
And going right after Altuve with a full count. Not a guy that you would really think is going to take you out of the ballpark, although he has 5 this year. Those are the guys you don't want to walk. Because the guy on deck has some power.
Scott Moore would hit next if Altuve can reach. Full count, 2 outs. And in the air, foul territory. This one looks playable, and Ishikawa makes a catch. So Jose Veras does a nice job. He strands 2 base runners, finishes up Mike Fiers' day with 2 earned runs.
with you, social media on Twitter, and Sophia Minnaert now joins us. Of course, we introduced you to her, I should say, earlier in this game, and you're stepping in from behind the scenes to in front of the scenes now to report on what's going on with social media with our viewers here today. Let's go back to the third inning and pose the question that you put out there for us.
Craig, a lot of great Twitter conversation happening today as we asked Brewers fans to weigh in on the question, who had the more impressive month of July? Brewers Player of the Month, Aramis Ramirez, or Pitcher of the Month, Mike Fiers? Again, some great comments from Brewers fans. We asked them to tweet with hashtag Ramirez or hashtag Fiers. Kevin said, Ramirez has been the most valuable Brewer over the last month. Despite his age, he just keeps getting better. 66 RBIs. Now, Billy, he took today's starting pitcher, saying Fiers had the better July, got called up from the minors, and has stepped up huge and pitched consistently well for the crew. Now, another strong outing by Fiers today. Rock, who's your pick?
I tell you what, can't you go pitcher and position player? You know, you have pitcher and position player of the month. I got to go with Aramis Ramirez, the way he's been swinging the bat. I mean, going from where he was, not just in the month of July, but last 2.5 months, he's been incredible.
I'll take Fiers for the unexpected part of it.
Right. But for Aramis Ramirez to go from mid-May to, what was it, 214? We had the graphic up today.
Yeah, at the end of April, 214, as Ricky Weeks bangs out a base hit. That's his third hit.
And right now, Ramirez is at 292. I mean, it's kind of a toss-up. I mean, they both have been incredible. I think the Brewers' offense in general over the last month has been pretty good. Pitching staff has been good all year. It's a shame that they're in the position that they're in right now. As Francisco Cordero takes over his 6th game with the Astros, former Brewers closer, has been roughed up.
Yeah, Cordero traded to Houston. He was part of that 10-player deal with the Blue Jays. Blue Jays acquired 3 and gave up 7. Cordero, one of them. He and Ben Francisco. The key pieces in that trade were Jay Happ and Brandon Lyon, going from Houston to Toronto. Well, you got to play the games that are on the schedule. Don't give up now. You just keep plugging away. First priority is to get back to 500. And right now the Brewers are 9 games under. A win today, they'd be 8 back, or 8 under. Stranger things have happened. The odds are stacked up against them a great deal. But the Brewers have had such a rough start to the season, at least through the first half. And obviously the bullpen situation post All-Star break. As Lucroy goes into left field, that ball's pretty well hit. Did he get it? Yes, he did. Jonathan Lucroy with a 2-run home run. Number 6 and his first home run since returning from the disabled list.
And a 4th home run for the Brewers here today. Jonathan Lucroy with his first base hit. He's able to tomahawk it on top of a high slider from Cordero. That pitch didn't do much. Just laid up in the strike zone for Lucroy, and Luke didn't miss it. Knocks it out of here off the Friday's wall out there in left. Laid it back nicely on it. Nice easy swing.
His first home run since the 23rd of May. It's been a while since he's been able to circle the bases. 2 months on the disabled list with a broken hand. And in his first homestand back from the DL, Lucroy has been able to pick up where he left off with the bat. You can tell his timing's a little bit disrupted. But Lucroy with his 5th hit on the homestand. Now 3 runs batted in as his Turris goes down the line again. Is this number 2 for his Turris? Foul ball. He just hooked it. Back in the 5th inning, his Turris sent one down the line, kept it fair. Knocked it into the ATI area. Second home run of the year for his Turris. This one he just got out ahead of. And a good call by Mike Winters. Passed in front of the foul pole. Oh, Cordero throws one behind him.
Well, he taps on his chest, looking at his Turris saying, hey, that's my bad. I didn't mean to do that. As bad as that might have looked. I don't know if we're going to be able to see. Watch Cordero after this pitch. Watch him. He's going to tap. He's going to look at his Turris, tap on his chest, saying, I didn't mean that, man. Brewers now with 128 home runs. That's best in the National League. Next closest, Cincinnati with 118. That was before play today. Did they hit one today?
It's Turris with a base hit. And thinking about extras on his way to second. A double for Cesar's Turris. He's had a 3-hit game. And if he gets another chance to hit, he's a triple away from the cycle today.
And another slider down and in. That's almost the same pitch that his Turris hit out of the ballpark back in the 5th inning. Actually, Cincinnati plays tonight. So the Brewers right now with a 10 home run lead in the National League over the Cincinnati Reds, who play later on.
Yeah, the Reds host the Padres tonight. Cesar Turris has had quite a series. He gets the start here today. 3 hits in the game, has a couple of RBIs, including the home run. His play at shortstop on Monday night, the reason the Brewers are in a position for a sweep. It's one of the great plays of the year. It looked like the Astros were going to tie it up. This was the last out, the 27th out of Monday night's game. Look at this play by his Turris and Corey Hart with the pick at first base. And that's one of the great gems of the season for Milwaukee, and that's how the ball game ended. It was a save for Axford, and the Brewers able to pick up a much needed victory after a rough weekend against the Nationals.
Yeah, off the bat, I had that a base hit. That was a heck of a play by his Turris, and that's the first time I saw the replay that showed Ramirez pointing to his Turris to go to first base.
Oh, good eye. Ishikawa, a little bouncer over to first. And there's the out. Because Ron Renicky was saying the next day, we were talking to the manager about the play. He said, you know, I thought he might have tried third base, or maybe a fake to first and try to get the runner to round the bag, and you weren't really sure what his play was going to be there. First base, second base.
Well, Ramirez wasn't at third base because they'd taken a step toward the baseball, and there's no play at third. The only chance was at first base, and very surprising. J.D. Martinez, seems though it took him a while to get down there.
Yeah, Martinez hasn't been in the lineup since, as Morgan delivers an RBI. So Nigel Morgan gets into the act. It is now 13-2. RBI single for Nigel Morgan.
And fastball away, not much on it. Cordero used to throw in the mid-90s, and not anymore. Nigel Morgan able to stay on it and bang it right back through the middle.
Nigel Morgan has 5 RBIs in this series against Houston. He had just 4 RBIs the entire season leading up to this series. (13-2) Brewers. Banging out 15 hits today. And we're only in the bottom of the 7th. In the air, left center. And Schaefer will make the call. He's got it for the second out.
Francisco Cordero having a tough time
in the National League.
Right.
That's not the kind of whip you're looking for. Walks and hits per innings pitch is the whip.
Right. 3.5.
That's 3.5 base runners per inning.
Right.
In simple terms. Here's Ryan Braun with 2 outs. He's had a good day. Can make it a great day. 2 for 3. He scored 3 runs. He's the league leader in runs scored. He hit his league leading 29th home run in the 6th inning, and now 73 RBIs. He's just 2 behind Beltran. As he fouls that one away, will rock on the 14th pitch of the at-bat. Ryan Braun, after 7 straight foul balls, delivered one into the right center field bleachers.
Those folks don't realize how tough it is to do what he just did. Hit that ball that far to right field, to the opposite field, on the line.
And now Braun is hit. So Cordero almost hits his Turris and drills Braun.
At this point, after Cordero almost hit his Turris and now hits Braun, you'd think maybe a warning would be issued, but hits Braun right on the back of the arm. I think that's where it got him, right on the back of that tricep.
Not what you want to see.
No. Now an 11-run lead. You've got your MVP getting drilled by pitches.
And you wonder if Renick's going to take him out of the game. Oh, and 2 to Ramirez. Ramos Ramirez, after that double in the 6th inning, tied for the league lead in doubles, and he is the league leader in extra base hits. He has 51.
You know, another reason I give Ramirez a nod, player of the month, he plays every day. He's out there every day. To take nothing away from Mike Fiers, I mean, he deserves it as well. But if you have a, it's like kind of the MVP. If you have a pitcher that's really having a great year and a position player, the MVP, I'd always give the nod to the guy that's out there every day.
I agree with you.
If it's comparable.
But I'm still going to go to Mike Fiers and say, you know, Rock voted for Ramirez, but I had you all the way, partner.
You can say that.
There's a swing and a miss. Ramirez down on strikes, and the side is retired, but the Brewers score 3 more to run away in Milwaukee. 13-2, Brew Crew.
Travel to St. Louis to take on the Cardinals at Busch Stadium. It is going to be a sticky, steamy, and potentially stormy evening. Temperatures in the upper 80s.
Headed to St. Louis tomorrow night, the Brew Crew, and a 3-game series starting Friday. Good crowd on hand today to see this one. Yeah, the Brewers all over the Astros. 13-2 is the score as we head to the 8th inning. Cody Ransom will take over at second base. In for Ricky Weeks, and Mike McClendon is on the mound. He's been wearing out the miles between Nashville and Milwaukee. McClendon back in the big leagues, though, and he's hoping to improve upon his earlier stints. Just 4 games with the Brewers earlier this year. He's been a couple of occasions throughout his career. He's been in the holding tank when they brought him up. Not sure they were going to make a move, and he's been sent right back. So he was with the big league club, but wasn't not officially on the roster. The old taxi squad.
Just in case.
That's some excellent hair growth down in AAA Nashville, though. Good and hot down there. Good hair growing weather.
Mm-hmm.
And McClendon drills Scott Moore. And now Wally Bell will issue the warnings.
There you go. Umpires with no warning. A couple of a near miss by Cordero to his turret. He hit Braun, and McClendon promptly drills Scott Moore. He got him in the leg. Scott Moore flips the bat. I would imagine he expected it a little bit. Yeah, but now you give the warning, allowing the Brewers to make amends.
Brad Mills out to argue with Wally Bell. I kind of like the way Wally Bell handled that situation. And now Wally Bell is giving it back to Brad Mills.
I'm not sure what. I guess Brad Mills is wondering why he gave a warning. He threw behind his turret, hit Cordero, and then he hit Braun in the arm.
So Brad Mills has had his say. He's on his way back. Well, the Brewers have been hit a lot in this series. Carlos Gomez has been drilled twice, one on each forearm. And it hasn't been just the Brewer hitters either. Henderson hitting a batter yesterday. Earlier today, Ricky Weeks was drilled on the elbow. And then they got Braun. And McClendon returns the favor. So after all that, we sit here in the 8th inning with a man on. Nobody out.
Good old-fashioned baseball right there. I think Wally Bell, I agree. I think he handled it beautifully.
Because if he issues a warning after Cordero hits Ryan Braun, then that upsets the other side of it. There's this old saying, you played in that
right.
Arrow Rock, but the players will work it out themselves.
Right. Exactly.
It's kind of like that imaginary scoreboard going on.
If you issue the warning right after Cordero hit Braun, then the Brewers don't feel as though they get their opportunity. But you don't know if that was the case or not. But I think Wally Bell played that as good as you can.
So if there is another batter hit or a pitch that Wally Bell deems as intentional, that one's blasted. Brett Wallace sends that deep left center field, and his second home run of the game. And that's the best way for payback, as Wallace belts his 4th homer, his 2nd of the day, a 2-run shot, and it's 13-4.
Pretty good opposite field power right there. Brett Wallace likes the ball down. He hit the home run on the pitch down. Very similar to that. He pulled the first one and takes this one into left field. Nice swing.
Francisco pops it up, and Ramirez makes the catch for the out. Our Miller Lite, what's on tap? Brewers and the Cardinals starting a 3-game series Friday night. That matchup on Friday night will be Randy Wolf against Joe Kelly. And then Mark Rogers will match up against Adam Wainwright on Saturday. Marco Estrada and Kyle Loesch Sunday on ESPN. Bouncer to Izturis. 2 outs. Brewers still playing, even though they have an extra reliever in their pen, technically a man short because Manny Parra has been unavailable. Still having some tightness in his pitching arm and being evaluated right now. Sean Markham threw a bullpen today. And Sean Markham is a guy that is trying to come back and get back on the mound and went full bore at it, we understand. So now it'll depend on how he comes back from his bullpen session, but he's hoping to get back in the rotation soon. In the air to center field. Gomez on the run, dives, and he makes the catch. Carlos Gomez. A great diving catch in left center. And the side is retired. Look at the ground he covers. What a play.
Bottom of the 8th inning, and 4 home runs today do the trick in our Marshfield Clinic shining moment. The home runs, in fact, in this series, Davey, 15 by 10 different players.
Well, you know, we talked about it on the pregame show that this ball club lives and dies by the home run, and over this series or this homestand, they have proved that very so, because I mean 15 home runs by how many different players?
10 different players.
10 different players. And that's not even including you and I.
I said players.
Okay.
We can count you as a former player by not hitting one in this series, but that's okay. All right, we're going to cover it all coming up after the ball game. It's a you pick 'em who's going to step to the podium here for post-game interviews. Everyone's been a hero here today in the last couple of games. A lot of runs by Milwaukee. You see the 15 home runs on the homestand. We'll hear from Ron Renicky as well. All coming up, Brewers Live after the ball game. Brian and Bill.
All right, thanks a lot, Craig and Davey. Looking forward to Brewers Live. The long ball has been the story. The Brewers going after the sweep today, trying to make it a winning homestand. 7-game homestand, 15 home runs. A great catch by Carlos Gomez to end the 8th inning, top of the 8th. Now we head to the bottom of the 8th, and Mike McClendon is going to get an at-bat. Xavier Cedeno on the pitch.
Second appearance in this series. One of 2 left-handers in that Astros bullpen. Wesley Wright, who has not pitched against the Brewers this week, also out there.
McClendon will pop up. Wallace makes the catch for the out. Now, Rock, let's take you back to the play from Carlos Gomez. He can certainly go get him.
Yes, he can. He covers a lot of ground and not afraid to throw his body around out there on the field. Able to grab it just before it hits the grass. That is one heck of a play by Gomez. And he just loves that. I mean, his least favorite thing is to catch a routine fly ball.
That's right.
He likes to run him down. He likes to dive. He likes to do anything he can to be athletic out there, and he just thrives on it.
It's Cody Ransom, his first at bat. Matt Downs takes over at short for the Astros. And we'll see Downs lead off in the 9th inning on the double switch. 0-2 to Ransom. He has one of the 15 home runs on this homestand. He hit a big home run, a 3-run home run in the 8th inning on Monday night. At the time, it gave the Brewers a 4-run lead. They would need them all. And he hit it off Cedeno on Monday. Ransom now with 9 homers for the year. The first 4 came as a member of the Diamondbacks. He's hit 5 as a Brewer. Hangs in there, 2-2 to count. Some updates from the big leagues. A lot of day baseball today for many teams. It's not just the Brewers and the Astros that are playing under the natural sunshine. You got the Pirates and the Cubs. Pirates just scored 5 runs in the 8th. They lead 7-1 in the bottom of the 8th. Starlin Castro hit his 11th homer of the season, the only run for the Cubs. Diamondbacks lead the Dodgers 2-0. They're trying to whittle a deficit away in the National League West. Giants have a 1-game lead over the Dodgers. Diamondbacks are 3.5 back. Arizona's won 7 of their last 10. And they have a 2-0 lead in the home 7th at Dodger Stadium. Giants and the Dodgers, same amount of wins. Giants 2 fewer in the loss column. It's going to be a good race. Giants now with Hunter Pence in their batting order, gives them a little pop. And the Dodgers acquiring Shane Victorino and Hanley Ramirez. There's a strike called. Ransom is rung up. Second out of the inning. Well, if you want to learn the basics of baseball, stay tuned to Brewers Live postgame. Rock and Davey will break down the techniques and strategies of the ball game and into today's postgame instructional. Rock and Davey are going to do what?
We're going to talk about that play that Jose Altuve tried to pull off. You know, that backhand flip out of the glove to second base.
Ah.
You know, Davey was a second baseman.
Yes, he was.
I will be manning second base and attempting to catch the flip.
So you hope it's a good flip.
I hope that Davey gives a better flip than Altuve did.
So you're going to try to do an instructional on the flipping itself or the thought process
Both.
prior to the flipping?
Both. You know, when Davey and I do an instructional, there's a lot of thinking going on, not a lot of physical activity.
Right, a lot of discussion. It's kind of a lecture series.
So I got that trick knee. We're going to attempt to, demonstrate, though.
Well, that should be worth tuning in for. I thought the pregame instructional, I'm not sure that's the exact terminology for it, but Davey Nelson was out with Ricky Weeks earlier today, and that aired on Brewers Live pregame today. I thought that was fascinating about where Weeks positions himself and how he finds his mark, if you will, as if he's on a stage. And the various defensive shifts the Brewers have. So a little pregame clinic.
That's a good idea. Davies does a pretty good job of that. I mean, he relates to the players very well.
Yes. Former big league player, big league coach, Davey Nelson. Lucroy taking an aim at someone down in that Astros dugout. And Trent's got the sun camera today over there. That's the hot spot. Two outs, bottom of the eighth, and a 1-2 pitch coming back our way. Haven't had a foul ball up here in a while. I've been ready though.
I have my glove up here. I'm ready. I won't catch one barehanded.
If by glove you mean BlackBerry, then I get what you're saying.
No, glove.
Oh, a real glove.
Right.
I see. It's not some app, some glove app.
No, it's right here. Got it.
Well, it's coming. I feel like there's a ball coming our way shortly. That's a nice glove, by the way.
It's the best. This is a leather magnet right here.
Seems like this glove used to be someone else's.
No.
I mean, it has your name, but it seems like somebody else's name was there first.
No, you know what happened? Rob Deere borrowed this in fantasy camp, scratched my name out, and put Rooster on it.
Oh, I see. So you scratched out his scratch out as Lucroy strikes out.
He's a big kid.
A Rooster update. It's been a good day for the Brewers today. Mike Fiers en route to his 5th win of the season. Brewers lead 13-4. Top of the 9th inning. Mike McClendon is back on the mound to try to finish it off. Fiers went 6+ today, 6 innings plus 2 hitters. 8 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He didn't walk anybody, and he struck out 6. And his ERA will go up today. Began the day with a 1.77 earned run average, and McClendon hits Matt Downs. Now, just because he hit Downs doesn't mean an automatic ejection. It's up to the home plate umpire. So obviously Wally Bell doesn't think he did that on purpose, because not only would McClendon be ejected, but the manager would go with him. Like a breaking ball.
The umpires have a pretty good sense for, pitches and what is intentional. As you mentioned, just because you hit a guy doesn't mean it's intentional. You're going to get thrown out. By the same token, if you miss a guy and the umpire thinks it's intentional, they'll throw you out.
After warnings are issued, it's the pitcher and the manager that go. There's a strike. Steve Pearce pinch hitting here in the 9th inning. Big plans tonight, Rock. Going to watch the Olympics like the 38 million other Americans.
We don't have any defined plans. We're going to see what happens when you get back to the house. If the fish are biting, maybe jump on a boat, maybe throw a line, grab an adult beverage, light up a stogie.
It sounds like a country song.
I might have some of that playing.
They go to second for one. The relay not in time. Get the lead out at second base.
How about you?
Yep, just a quiet night at home. Getting ready for the big road trip. Got to go pack.
I packed already. Brought my stuff.
Well done. 2-game road trip for us.
2-game and no coat and tie.
That changes the packing from a suitcase to a Ziploc.
Right. Duffel bag.
That skips away from Lucroy. Sloppy finish to this one here. Astros have committed 4 errors in this game, but a 6-run 5th. The difference in this one is it's 13-4. After that inning, Brewers added 1 in the 6th on a home run by Braun, his league leading 29th. Lucroy with a 2-run homer in the 7th.
Brewers 5 for 14 with runners in scoring position today, and remember they started 0 for 5 today. Ended up 5 for 9, including a home run. Very aggressive on the bases once again for the Brewers, and tremendous starting pitching.
A lot of offense today for Milwaukee. 13 runs on 15 hits. Ryan Braun with 3 RBIs. Got a couple of hits. On base 4 times today, Ryan Braun. He was hit by a pitch and he walked. RBI from Ramirez once again. Corey Hart. Weeks at the 2-run homer. Lucroy had a home run. A 2-run shot. Cesar Torres had a big day as well. Had 3 hits today and 2 RBIs. Schaefer rolls to second base. And there is out number 2. So this is what it looked like offensively in just 8 innings at the plate for the Brewers today. Big production.
Cesar Torres with a big day at the plate. Nigel Morgan continues to get that batting average heading north.
Don't see Ricky Weeks on that list, as he's been taken out of the game. He had 3 hits today. 3 for 3 with 2 runs batted in, including his 12th home run of the season. The Brewers will see the Astros in short measure after the next 3-game homestand, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The Brewers will play the Astros again in Houston a week from Friday. That starts a road trip to Houston and Colorado. And I think that does it. No, there's one more series against the Astros in September. The penultimate series of the year, Ron. Nigel Morgan eases over, and that one's in the seats. So the day off tomorrow, and then Friday that series with the Cardinals, home against the Reds, back to Houston and Colorado, and then the Phillies come to town. Gives you a look at the next couple of weeks, and hoping for a big finish. There's a strike, 2-2. Yesterday, 10 runs on 12 hits. Today, 13 runs on 15 hits. Slow roller, gotta hurry as Torres throws on the run, and it's in time for the out. And the ball game is over. The Brewers sweep the Astros and salvage a homestand. They go 4-3 on the homestand as Mike Fiers improves to 5-4. Fiers 6 innings, just 2 earned runs, and a 13-4 victory here today. Much more still to come. Craig Kashawn standing by. What do you have coming up on Brewers Live, Craig?
Well, looking forward to talking to the Brewers. They must feel good about a sweep of the Houston Astros. They got good pitching today from Mike Fiers. We'll catch up with him here from Ron Renicky. All coming up as we come back to Fox Sports Wisconsin.